Jordy, give you a little check.
Check, mic check.
Welcome in to the Jordy Culotta show here on this Monday morning.
Something is buzzing.
I bet you it's
that heater.
We're on a heater.
Here,
Lenny Fournette's on a heater.
Oh, yeah. Devin White should have put us out of business.
Oh, man.
Could have had taken a Monday off.
Tyrann Mathieu. Yeah, let's kill that one for sure. That's definitely the buzz.
I'll type it.
Audio back?
We're back.
All right.
So it turns out in this room you can't move too much,
Yeah, watch
or
yourself.
the cords get
Watch
angry.
yourself. Watch
Thanks,
yourself.
arrogant core dog. Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate everybody for supporting yesterday for the squares. What a success.
What a success.
Over here at the Culotta show, at the Jordy Culotta show. Put Lloyd on a project on Friday. Next thing you know, we got
Magic happened.
we got Venmos flying in.
Lloyd
We got a couple
Courtney.
of quarter winners. Tom
Thanks
Granning.
everybody who donated to
Thanks
us.
for helping out the show.
Tom Granning was a winner. We had Zach.
Zach Ingram.
Zach Ingram.
We had two Zach Ingrams.
A
We had
fake
a,
Zach
yeah,
Ingram.
we
We had
had
a
a
fake one.
fake. We had a fake call in. but
Real
that's
Zach
okay.
Ingram, we will get in touch with you through your Venmo.
We did have an insider winner. Kelly Calandro with a winner.
Which she spent her money,
She spent her money.
just like if Estelle or Grant. Kevin said apparently you gave Estelle and Grant very good numbers.
I tried to.
I don't understand how it all works. I mean, I do, but I don't when you're picking the squares. But I guess we did it backwards.
Ah.
I'm just saying. I think now in
Well,
Is
retro,
that a, is that
I
a
think
complaint
now in
coming from the Huey
retro,
household?
I think now in retrospect,
In retrograde.
we can acknowledge that perhaps we did not do as much research about how to do the squares as we should have.
No doubt.
I just know people do Super Bowl squares, so I said it out loud, and I should have kept it to myself.
No, you did great, Lloyd. Considering like you did is just as good as I would have done.
Yeah, so thank you.
I don't know if that's a
I
compliment
think
or
it is.
not.
I'll take it.
So welcome here to the Jordy Culotta show. We're starting early here, 7 a.m. Our first show at 7 a.m. This could be our launching spot as we will get to you 7 to 9 a.m. Our coffee daily is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Shout out to Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan for bringing the coffee in. Rivs is drinking out of the mug this morning. Real doctors, real solutions. If you're out there, they work directly with the personal injury lawyers. Get over to Metropolitan Health Group. All right, today coming up, 1 hour from now, Derrick Stingley Sr. will stop by. He'll be via phone this morning. We'll talk to him on his thoughts on the Super Bowl. And at 8:30, looking forward to our conversation with McNeese head football coach and former recruiting extraordinaire for LSU running backs coach Frank Wilson. It was dubbed a LSU Invitational by Kyle Brandt on the NFL Network, talking about Super Bowl 55 with the amount of Tigers playing in that game. All of them, I believe Frank Wilson was the primary recruiter for. Leonard Fournette for sure, Tyrann Mathieu for sure, Devin White for sure, Darrell Williams for sure. I mean, who am I missing out of that? I mean, I think
That's it.
all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah, I
Clyde.
mean, well,
Oh, Clyde.
Clyde. He didn't.
Oh,
so
poor Clyde.
he wasn't. And Clyde played great.
Yeah, when Cloud was coming here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a Baton Rouge kid. But he saw Clyde at camp when Clyde was a youngster at Catholic High. So we will talk to Coach Wilson about the recruiting process for all those guys watching the Super Bowl. That had to be a proud moment for him looking out on that field and seeing all those guys not only being a part of the game, but being like major impact players in that game. Devin White was the best player on the field.
I feel like every time I was doing a lot of stuff while the game was going on, but every time I looked up, I felt like Devin White was doing something.
I mean,
like every time.
How many times have you been talking about that throughout the playoffs?
Yes, it felt like for the last month of the season, he was the best player left in the tournament, or best player left in the league. Lloyd and I bet a couple of cookies on him to win the MVP, and
should have got a couple cookies.
a lot
back.
of people after the game last night were talking about how he may have been. I mean, Brady, 3 touchdowns in the first half. His stat line 21 of 29, very efficient.
Did Tom Brady thing.
Yeah, just did Tom Brady stuff. And when he's on the field and he's playing like that, he's going to get all the attention. But I mean, Devin White, his ability to create just chaos out
Impact
there, blows
the
things up.
Yep.
Yeah, he just blows things up. He's unblockable. He's so fast. He gets sideline to sideline. My favorite part about him is the confidence that he plays for and the amount of like shit he's talking.
Oh, all game.
The entire game.
Yeah.
Like barking.
Yeah.
Not
unlike,
at the best players.
Unlike Tyron.
Tyron did the same. Yeah,
Tyron tried to do that to
dude.
Tom Brady.
And Tyrann Mathieu's a great trash talker, but he didn't.
Not to Tom.
You don't poke the finger.
You don't-
Yeah, dude.
Don't
You don't
poke.
chase. You
Don't poke
chase
the bear.
Don't chase the goat down after he throws a touchdown on you
And give him
and
a little
wag your finger in his
Tom
face.
did not look pleased.
I mean, Brady chased him down.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady like ran after him, and then there was a shot on the sidelines. Rivs, we were talking about it this morning. Rivs didn't catch it, but one of his teammates walks up to Brady after that back and forth between Mathieu, and Brady's kind of like sitting on the bench, and he's got his head. He looks like he's looking at some of the pictures or something, and somebody walks over and slaps him on the shoulder pads, and it looks like it says something about Mathieu, and the cameras catch him where he picks his head up and he says "F him."
Yeah.
like directly like
coming
to
back.
like F him.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't
I'm
see
going-
that. But I did see. So Tyron went, to his side, and you can see somebody come up to him like, "Man,
That was
what are you-
Spagnuolo,
what are
defense
you doing,
coordinator.
man? What are you
Yeah.
doing?"
Yeah.
And you can see him trying to like explain what he was doing, but who he was explaining it to, he was just like, "No." You could just tell that it wasn't getting through.
Yeah.
Like whoever he was explaining himself
Tyron
to
got
was like,
hot
"No."
and never really
That
cooled
was a dumb
down.
move.
No, he didn't.
He never really did. He never came back down.
That seemed like the Chiefs though the whole game.
Yeah.
Like they were kind of they got
just in their
they
heads
got
and then-
punched in the face. They didn't know how to respond, or they're like, "Oh, we're in a fight." Like we haven't been in a fight. They
Or
could usually
Mahomes.
flip the switch. Yeah, I think he's hurt,
He
Man.
was hurt. Well, he had a turf toe injury,
which
was
is a big
limping.
deal, dude.
which is a huge deal. I mean, I think
Shout out,
by nature,
shout out Larry.
by nature, I think you hear the injury turf toe, and everybody's. I think your natural reaction would be like, "Say what?"
It needs a bigger name.
Yeah, right. But
He was limping.
he was
pre-game.
limping on it.
Yeah.
The incompletions he threw in that game
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Like,
There's the one.
are
I wish-
Hall of
I should've
Fame where
sent it
when
to
you
you.
talking about when he's falling down sideways.
He is like full.
He looks like Derek Jeter.
He
It's
is
like
horizontal.
horizontal.
Yeah.
Like full horizontal, and he just hits the guy in the face mask.
hits him in the face
Like,
and he
what?
throws it like sidearm. And then
How?
one time he's running to his left.
Stops,
and they're
pivots,
throwing-
comes back.
And he throws one to the end zone. And I mean, the dude
Bread
just drops
basket.
it.
Yeah, bread
just-
basket.
I mean, he just drops it.
The amount of drops last night for Kansas City was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I mean, and they play, you rarely see them get as frustrated. You rarely see them
because
get,
they always feel like they're in control. You know.
And
Yeah.
usually when a team dominates for as long as Kansas City has been dominating, when you get into a fist fight,
Yeah, that was yeah.
you kind of look around like we hadn't been here in a minute.
We're in a real
who's-
game now, yeah.
Who's really going to step up and all the turnover on their offensive line? I mean, I was reading some posts where like Kansas City Chiefs fans were Googling their roster because they didn't recognize who was playing offensive line. For them.
It looked like that.
Yeah, I
That's
was
what I
gonna
thought
say,
was a
looked
big.
That makes sense.
When Fisher went out at left tackle before the game, and you're like, well, JPP's going to be coming off the edge all game.
And shout out to Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. He put a plan together for Kansas City, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes.
Confused them.
They've never seen it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
couldn't. They were so confused. In fact, this is the first time since 2017, before Mahomes was a starter, Alex Smith was a starter for the Kansas City Chiefs, since they have not scored a touchdown in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that out loud. In a Super Bowl where Todd Bowles can put together a game plan. They did have some drops. I mean, you saw Kelsey drop a couple of passes. He looked a little insecure.
He just didn't-
catch. It just didn't
Yeah.
look like he was comfortable. But I give that credit to Tampa Bay in the way that they were able to defend Kansas City in the plan. They rushed for the whole night, but they did it very unconventional. Like they had Ndamukong Suh standing up on the outside, and they had Shaq Barrett like down.
Did y'all see him before the game? He did some interview before the.
Or Sue?
He Google it if you can Google it. Just his outfit. I mean, you had to know what was going to happen in the game just based on his outfit. It was just incredible.
Is this Shaq Barrett?
Yes. It was like kind of like this fake Gucci looking thing and like a headband and these crazy sunglasses.
Oh, Cam Newton protocol?
Yes. I mean, it was wild.
And Barrett was a guy that was at Denver when they brought over Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And it was talking about, the how much this was similar to that in Brady. But Brady is so good.
So good.
I mean, at 43 years old, some of the passes that he made, that touchdown pass, that first pass he threw to Gronk for the touchdown, I mean, that thing was on a laser. One of the passes he threw to Mike Evans, I mean, his numbers, his efficiency, the way he competes, he really looks like he's got a couple of years left. I mean, it's not an argument.
I mean, he looked.
Did you see when
There's
Jim Nantz?
nothing
did you
about
see
him
when
that
Nantz-
makes me think he should retire.
No.
Well, did you see when Nance asked him after the game? He's like, "You have more football left." He's like,
he's
"You
like,
know
yeah,
the answer to
yeah,
that, Jim."
yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, we're coming back."
But then I look at someone like Aaron, and maybe he's just tired right now. It's the end of the season. He's just tired. You look at pictures of Aaron Rodgers, and he's just like, he looks sad and like almost like he's like 36 years old. I mean, like.
Nookie pointed out that stat when we were talking about Mahomes, how he ran like 500 yards last night, but he only gained 33 yards.
Yeah. Ugh.
Like he was just running for his life the whole game. And
Just like, someone posted a picture of the little Giants, the scene where he's just like running in circles and people are chasing him. That's what Mahomes looked like.
Oh, he was running for his life last night.
The one thing I wanted to say about Mahomes last night is that there's ways to like lose big games, right? There's the Cam Newton Super Bowl loss, then there's the Mahomes Super Bowl loss. Like there's ways to do it and show effort. And I think you really got to commend him for doing the best he could under
I don't think
circumstances.
anyone's looking at Mahomes like,
No way.
You
He
lost
couldn't
this,
have done
you know?
anything more.
No,
I mean, Patrick Mahomes could not have done anything. I'm telling you, the incompletions that he threw last night are Hall of Fame worthy. Like they are the highlights. I thought of the pass that Rivers is talking about where he's falling down horizontal. His feet are on the same plane as his head, and he throws the ball on a dart like 40 yards down the field and hits the receiver in the face. It made me think of LSU versus Tennessee in 2006 with Jamarcus Russell, where he had a similar play where he was like rolling to his right and got hit while he was throwing and was knocked to his side and put like a 45-yard laser on the face of Craig Davis. In fact, I had to pull up the highlight last night to just kind of recall how special of a play it was. But, I mean, if you don't realize what you're seeing and how difficult of just an athleticism or just the athleticism it takes to play NFL football, and for those guys to be moving at full speed and Mahomes be making plays like that.
Well, the Jamarcus throw against Arizona State.
That's another good example.
Yeah, the fourth down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's what he was doing out
Yeah,
there.
it was.
Just making plays and nobody caught it.
Running for his life, I mean, there was nothing more that that he could have done. It was Darrell Williams.
I know.
That was
I didn't
on
wanna
that
say it.
that was on that
I
horizontal.
didn't want to say it.
LSU, we were talking so
You
much about
did.
LSU. I just took it right, caught one in the chin.
I think it's interesting. You look at someone pointing this out last night. You look at all the guys for Tampa Bay who scored. Most of those people are people that Tom Brady specifically picked out to bring to this team.
No doubt.
Like
It's the LeBron effect.
he just built this super team in
did.
Tampa
At that-
Bay.
And I mean, you really think about, like, look around Tampa Bay, right? The Saints are turning over. Drew Brees looks like he's definitely going to retire. There's still $50 million over the cap after this weekend's news that Brees has renegotiated his deal and helped out.
$24 million.
Right. And is going to help out that cap number. There's still $50 million in excess over the cap. Drew Brees is stepping away. The way that Brady, the Bucks are built, I mean, the biggest free agent they have, I would say, would be Chris Godwin, the wide receiver, and Ndamukong Suh, Leonard Fournette. I mean, those are some of the guys that you're going to have to re-sign. But, I mean, I would imagine if you asked Fournette, do you want to go test the market or you want to go back to Tampa Bay? He'd probably be in Tampa Bay today.
back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
get me back to a good program with a good quarterback, you could see within the season
Him
just
getting better.
him getting
Comfortable.
back to his mental safe space, right? I mean, did you see the tweet he put out yesterday morning? He screenshotted the tweet on the day that Jacksonville let him go. Adam Schefter had the news, Jacksonville Jaguars are releasing Leonard Fournette.
Former first-round pick.
Right, former first-round pick Leonard Fournette, and it was back like on August 19th, and Fournette screenshotted that yesterday morning and said, I hadn't forgot. And I was thinking about he might be the MVP. Like, he's going to go off.
And he did.
He's going to go off tonight, just kind of like where he was, and he played great last night. I mean, the Ronald Jones carry early on is inexplicable from Bruce Arians
Killed
when
my
you got
over,
Fournette.
dude.
When you got
Come on.
Fournette sitting on the bench like that, and he's
Standing right
running like
next to
that,
him.
bro. He was even kind of like ducking in, like, you want me in, right? But I thought, really, all in all, from an LSU standpoint, that was a fantastic promotion and a fantastic night. I think Tyrann Mathieu would love to have that night back just because of the type of competitor he is and type of player he is. But, some nights they're just better than you. And Tampa Bay was clearly had the better plan, had the better team. And really, that game was never close. I mean, 31-9.
But the Chiefs never were really in
It was
it,
never really a
You didn't see a lot of
threat.
Tyreek
Yeah.
Hill.
Besides that first field goal.
You know what it reminded me of? A little bit of an Auburn game plan against Joey B. Where Mahomes just couldn't
play it
get
safe, baby.
comfortable, He kind of had to run a lot, try to pick and prod, but they never put it together.
You want to go through some of these prop bets?
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody. Maybe Lloyd doesn't want to do that.
Lloyd's like,
I
I'm just kidding.
can't even look at the account.
I am going to go through. So we tweeted out a bunch of just random ones. Thank you everybody who interacted with our tweets and voted. I'm just going to quickly kind of go through them. You can give some commentary, Lloyd, if you want, on how
Apparently
it
I've
went
been
for
talking
you.
too much, they've said, on the chat. So,
no,
my feelings are
They
hurt.
tell me I talk a lot too. It's fine.
Lloyd, I love you.
You're talking an appropriate amount.
Yeah, it is a podcast.
Oh, Lloyd, look, Lloyd's guy's little feelings hurt.
My feelings are hurt.
Okay,
Thanks,
here we
chat.
go. Here we go. Coin toss. It was heads.
I did tails.
Did you?
Yeah.
Tails never fails,
Did you
right?
see? Wait,
never fails.
Tails
did you
never
see
fails.
Pat McAfee put $30K on tails?
Yes. Yes.
Barf.
Talk about a hard way to watch the rest of the
what are
game.
I know,
doing,
really, like a tone
dude?
setter, bro.
Yeah. Apparently it's a bad flip.
So
And I agree.
one of my favorites, the Gatorade color,
Nice
Let's
call,
go.
Revs.
The blue.
Yeah,
The
you
blue.
called that on Monday.
Come on.
blue.
We've been
Easy
on that
call.
one.
We were on a Glacier Freeze. And
What?
I did orange.
What was funny was that we were looking it up after the game because by the time they got to the coaches, it had already happened. And I couldn't tell the
Right.
color. And so we were like Googling it or whatever. And at first Kevin was like, it was red. And I was like, red. And he was like, wait a minute. Wait. I got the picture. And it was just straight blue.
Was
is-
it Megan making money that was saying they don't want to do a color that stains?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then
blue is perfect. It's almost
Yeah.
like clear, It's
Yeah.
not gonna stain.
Our insider.
Although somebody said it looked a little too dark to be Glacier Freeze. So I
Cool
don't know.
blue?
Maybe
Arctic
cool
Freeze.
blue?
Arctic
Arctic
Freeze.
Okay.
Little winner.
Let's see. The Chiefs' first touchdown score.
Gronk.
The Chiefs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wah wah.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody.
There was no Chiefs touchdown.
Other would have been the right answer. Bucks first touchdown, Gronk, which is funny because on Saturday when I was tweeting out these prop bets, I was like reading them out loud to Kevin, and he was like, I was telling him who I was putting in the spaces,
Remember you saying that, yeah.
and he was like, whoever picks Gronk to score the first
Nice.
touchdown is an idiot.
Oh, he's gonna score two.
And he like just ran it on in.
6 for 67, two touchdowns
two
later.
tutties.
I don't think I even said
How about
anything.
you just stick to the chemical engineering, buddy?
I don't think I even said anything. I think I just sort of like glanced at him and he was like, whatever.
So is Gronk the best tight end of all time?
Whoa.
Oh, man. No, Tony Gonzalez, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I can't put anybody above Tony
dude.
I
Gonzalez.
mean,
Gronk retiring, coming
scored-
back, and
so-
it looks great.
he set a postseason record last night with 23 postseason touchdowns after his 2, all of them caught by Tom Brady.
Unbelievable.
All of them thrown by Tom Brady, excuse me.
Yeah, Tom had the drop.
And you think about what he's accomplished, the teams he's been on and what they've accomplished, and just how dominant of a pass catcher he is.
And he shows up.
He's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer at this
shows
point.
up every Super Bowl,
I
too.
agree.
Definitely a first
I
ballot.
agree.
He's
I agree
definitely a
with that.
first ballot Hall of Famer. Yes, in all the big games, he's great.
Someone
He's-
said
Ooh,
Shannon
Shannon
Sharp.
Sharp.
Shannon
Shannon
Sharp.
Sharp. So he's in the argument.
Yeah. Oh, 100. If you're in the conversation, then you're good.
He's
you know?
another guy who just doesn't look. How old's Gronk? Gronk's younger.
He's probably 31.
But
That was a guess.
You look at
That
him,
was a
I
guess.
feel like he could play
Yeah.
for a very long time.
TB12.
Yeah,
Which
31.
is-
We're supposed to start
No,
that
he's
today.
TB12.
I'm putting off
He's
the
younger than me.
TB12
That
to
makes me
Tuesday.
very sad.
We should order TB12, all of us, like for the show.
Okay.
And like get
Can
on
we
a
start
TB12
tomorrow?
diet.
I can't do it today.
Get on a TB12 diet.
Because
I could really use one of those.
Gronk's obviously on the diet.
I don't know that Gronk's on the diet.
I don't
I've
know,
seen
man.
a lot of.
They
I
look
got to
similar.
imagine if you're really in Brady's inner circle,
This is a guy who's faking workouts.
Like Edelman's doing it.
he's probably pressuring you a little bit on
To-
the TB12 stuff. I mean, he's probably not,
you
like
This is the same guy who's like chugging beers at Bogies or in Tigerland. Like
Gronk?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
if
probably
Gronk's
not as
there.
He's more cheat days
not
than
as
Tom.
committed to
Hey,
the
that's
program.
vegan.
But
Not as
keep in
committed.
mind, keep in mind, Gronk is only 31. Your body changes a lot from 30 to 40. Maybe he doesn't need
Yes,
the
it does.
TB12 thing
Yes, it
yet.
does.
You know?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Got a gray hair here.
But he's just, it's so weird to me that he retired, you know, and then he like retired from retirement. But
I love that he just plays his own game.
he just whatever he
He's
wants
like,
to
yeah,
do.
I guess I guess
Whatever
I'll
that
come
guy
back.
wants
I
to
just
do.
think if you're giving me a lineup and you're like, you have free reign to pick any tight end in NFL history, like I gotta go like Tony Gonzalez or Kellen Winslow or somebody think about the
Kellen Winslow
teams that
Sr.
Tony Gonzalez was on. Yeah,
No, he's great. I mean, Gonzalez is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
But then
he's great.
Gronk's only 31 though, so like he keeps playing.
More Super Bowls.
Yes,
He's
yes.
got
I gotta
Brady.
agree with that, Rivs. His story is not.
He's not done yet. Like
Nope.
maybe by the end of it.
He's probably got a couple more in Tampa.
I'm
I
telling
think they
you,
all
they're
run it
set
back.
up.
They're
Yes,
all
yes.
They are set up this season.
If you want to do the local thing, it's kind of bad for us, for the
Yes,
Saints.
it absolutely is.
Okay, so next one, oh, sad for you guys, but Super Bowl MVP. Tom Brady obviously got Super
Lloyd-
Bowl
Lloyd-
MVP.
Lloyd has left the chat.
Lloyd has left the chat.
Unbelievable.
Tell us your story, Lloyd.
No, I mean we all.
Tell them our story. Lloyd.
Yeah, so I got a call from my buddy in New Orleans, and he's very New Orleans, and he's like, "Put 20 on Devin White. He's gonna win this. He's gonna win MVP."
I mean-
and I was like, you know what, Jordy, should we put 50 on Devin White with him? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And then we start watching the game. We get to the point where he only has 8 tackles. We had the over in tackles and
His over
tackles
was
and assisted
9.5.
tackles. And he got to 8. We're like, is he gonna get to 9? And then we were like, is he gonna win MVP?
Well, I mean, we got the interception. A lot of the talking
We
heads,
called it, too.
A lot of the talking heads after the game were talking about how Devin White, if Brady doesn't get the MVP, is the clear-cut guy.
Right.
And just because he's all over the place, the interception at the game was kind of this,
He just stands out.
he does, man. I mean,
Every time I looked up, they were saying Devin White's name.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
wild.
and he's almost like we were talking about it last week, and it played out in the Super Bowl. I mean, he's running with guys like Tyreek Hill. He's running with guys like Hardeman. He's running with guys
Chasing 'em
like
down.
Clyde.
Yeah, that one play. Did you see where he was on the block and then guy runs back through the line and he just like turns around and runs him and
I mean,
chases him down.
and it's like he's running by them and kind of like messing with them. It's not like, bro, where do you think you're going?
He's
I had
got-
flashbacks
he wants
to, like,
have a
the DK Met-
conversation.
Huh?
He wants to have a conversation.
Yes.
Like, what's up? Y'all ready?
You're ready.
White is, man, he is like
Superstar.
C. Veal Jr. says it inside of the chat app. Devin White is different. He is different.
I
mean,
loved watching him walk out of the tunnel. It was funny because that was another prop bet. We didn't tweet that one out, but like, who's the first guy out of the tunnel?
Was
or
it
whatever.
Tom Brady?
Well, no. So you've got Tom Brady and Devin White, and they're like right next to each other walking, and then you got this just very excited center. Who's like just this big fat guy who's just pumped, but he's like in the front. I don't even know who he is.
Is
But
it Jensen? Is it
he's-
66?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so he's like the first guy out of the tunnel, but you're expecting to see like Brady or like
Do you
someone.
think they talk about that? Like before they
know.
see the prop bets, like, Jensen,
Got
get you
to.
some.
Got to.
Get you
Yeah.
some.
Collect, big boy.
He
Is
was-
that, is
he
that who
was so
fought Chris
excited.
Jones?
What's that?
Is that who fought Chris Jones?
Yeah, 66.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so pumped to be walking out of that tunnel.
Because one thing about Kansas City that we didn't talk about was the penalties.
Every
I mean, like,
big
bro,
play.
the penalties last night, they just looked off. They didn't look right catching the ball. They were making stupid penalties. You rarely see KC put themselves in a position
And they were
where
all on third down.
third down.
I also think it's a little
costly
unfair.
penalties.
You're seeing a lot, or on Twitter, as you scroll through the game, everybody loves to be like, oh, the refs want Tom Brady to win. Tom Brady, no.
I don't really buy that
I don't
as
buy
much.
that either.
I thought all the calls were legit.
I didn't think
the
they were
only
bad.
one I didn't think was was the one on Matthew. The
Yeah,
pass
that was not
interference
pass
on
interference.
the pass interference
yeah.
on Matthew. I thought was
And that shook him.
it did. It did. He didn't stop because if you saw the next play, he was barking at the official during the snap.
Right.
And then they had another. Then the pass interference before. I mean, that was pass interference.
I get as a market, we like to give the refs a hard time because of some Saints stuff, but like, I mean, that's all I saw was LOL the refs, LOL.
Well,
I mean, like,
I think that's the Brady effect too.
It wasn't proportional, but they were calling pass interference on
Yeah.
Tampa.
They were all early too. Like the
Yeah.
refs got out there early, then it kind of simmered down a little bit. I had time to get an interception, which he did, and they called it back. But
Wes Shane,
That's
Mahomes
okay.
looked bad. It
You
was
know
the worst game of his career. Wes, like, he was running for his life
Yeah.
every
Right, like-
snap. He was in the backfield 10 yards and on half the plays, bro.
maybe worse loss, but not like
Worse
game.
loss. I'd agree with that. He
Let's get
played
through a
good.
couple more of these. I'll do the LSU one. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire rushing yards. It was set at 26 and a half. He clearly hit the over 64.
Played good.
Then we
Yeah, he played
had
good. I thought it took him too long to get to him.
I wonder how healthy they think he was. You know.
well, I think that's why they set that number.
Mm-hmm.
So Leonard total rushing yards for Leonard Fournette. He hit
go.
the over. It was at 51 and a half.
What did he finish with?
smashed that.
89.
89. Lenny's about to get paid.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and good for him.
It's the first time he hasn't run into 8-man boxes his entire career.
His whole life.
His whole life.
His whole life.
There wasn't any. I mean, all the rest of them were kind of boring. Just that in that, like, you know, most of the guys on Kansas like under.
Yeah.
Which is
You
kind
can-
of sad.
You can assume that one.
They were
You
the
can assume
under.
that
First coaches challenge. The call stood. Tom Brady did not break his own passing record, which is at 505,
Yeah, definitely. Didn't
which
hit
is a
the
was
over.
number.
I don't know if he's breaking
I
that
think
versus
he was
Atlanta?
like
Yeah.
he was like in the
Or
upper
was that
200s.
Philadelphia.
Maybe.
They went back and forth in
Yeah,
that
they were
one.
going back and forth.
So the rest of the prop bets, I mean, it was kind of boring just because there were some commercial ones, but I don't have the numbers on those total commercials. We can talk about commercials later, but I don't have
I'm
those.
going 3D Doritos and Cheetos is my top two, but a little teaser once we get
Yeah,
there.
I think mine Will Ferrell and the swimmer commercial.
Yeah,
it was
that
like
had
Toyota.
riffs.
My
Yeah,
favorite
riffs.
didn't even air. The T-Mobile Gronk
How'd
and
you
Tom
see
Brady
it?
commercial.
How'd you know? Yeah,
It was
like,
on Facebook
Some
somewhere.
insider stuff. What
And,
are we-
and they said it was a Super Bowl commercial, but they aired a variant of it where it was like different people
Got
with
it,
the same
got it.
concept.
So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit. We'll talk more about the Super Bowl. We've also got some Saints and Drew Brees news that we teased a little bit, but they restructure the deal for Brees to hope and free up some cap space. Saints are in cap hell as they found themselves $100 million in excess before the Brees restructure over the weekend. We'll give you the news there. Hall of Fame class, another Hall of Fame class features another former LSU Tiger. We will talk about that coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Probably talk about Pedro Gomez a little bit.
Sad
it's
story.
sad.
Yeah, we will mention the passing of Pedro Gomez, one of the most well-respected baseball reporters of our generation, passed away at 58 years old as he was at his.
Worked well too.
Yes, he did. I still can't get over
I
it.
know, I know.
I mean, Rivers told us that probably about 10 minutes before airtime this morning, and it has. I mean, I still feel it in the pit of my stomach. I can't believe that. And the headline on it said it was pretty sudden. I don't know any. I don't
when
know
you're
any
58 years
details
old,
about it. And looked pretty
Yeah,
healthy. No speculation, but just a sad story that Pedro Gomez passed away over the weekend. Derrick Stingley Sr. is going to be here at 8 a.m. this morning. We always look forward to our conversation with Sting Sr. We'll ask him when his thoughts on the Super Bowl, what his thoughts were on Matthew and some of the defensive play that he saw yesterday, the offseason. Really looking forward to our conversation at 8:30 this morning. Frank Wilson, who is a New Orleans native and really when he was recruiting at a D1 level was as well respected in that position as you could find in the sport and was primary recruiters for guys like Leonard Fournette, Tyrann Mathieu, Devin White, Darrell Williams. He was in early on Clyde Edwards-Helaire while he was here at LSU. We'll talk to him about recruiting those guys, what it was like watching the Super Bowl from his point of view, and getting ready for spring football, right? I mean, he's the head football coach over at McNeese. The young Ogeron is his starting quarterback, and they're getting ready for a regular season that cranks up in a couple of weeks with spring football just right around the corner. So we'll talk to Coach Wilson coming up at 8:30 this morning about that. But now that the Super Bowl is in the books, real quick, before we get out off the subject, just Tom Brady, 43 years old, his fifth Super Bowl MVP and seventh ring as he beat the KC Chiefs.
Running out of fingers.
31-9. 7 wins for Tom in the Super Bowl, which gives him more rings than any other franchise in NFL history, with the Steelers and Patriots both having 6 rings. Brady also made history with his 5th MVP award, becoming the only player with 5. Joe Montana is second there with 3. And yes, this room does believe that Devin White should have gotten the award.
You know what else I noticed?
$2,000, Lloyd.
I think we had this conversation. I think maybe we
cookies.
had this conversation last year, or the year before. I don't remember when it was, but about Tom Brady. And this is more of a vanity thing, but we talked about how he kind of had lost it a little as far as like he wasn't looking good. He was almost looking too like skinny and sort of almost sickly. Do you remember that conversation we had?
Yeah.
He's not looking that way anymore.
No, he's not.
So tan.
I don't know what's going
South
on.
Florida.
Florida
Florida's
has
son.
been good to Tom Brady. I'm back on Brady.
I thought he looked when he was walking across the field at the dome.
He just looks more filled out in ways.
The
like
Mercedes,
less,
when he was walking across the dome after beating the Saints, and Breeze was out there, and he threw the touchdown pass to the
Breeze
kid.
looks
He had the
emaciated.
bag. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tom Brady got to a point where he just looked sunken. You know, like in his cheeks. He looked like he was just not out there having a good time. And now he's in Florida. He's got Gronk back. He's got a tan. He's married to Giselle, which I guess he always was, but he's just living his best life.
Living in Jeter's house.
Yeah, like
Things are good for Brady.
Things are good.
Things are good for Brady.
God bless
All right, we'll talk more about the Super Bowl when we come back. We'll also give you the news on the Hall of Fame class and Drew Brees and the Saints. You're watching the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every single day by Geaux Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUX, The Jordy Culotta Show is powered every day by Geaux Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com, located in Laplace, Louisiana, with the greatest selections of new and used Chevrolet vehicle inventory. Over in Laplace at Geaux Chevrolet, they have the latest models in stock. They provide financial assistance to both new and used car customers. Stop in today. It's a convenient stop, whether you're going to New Orleans or coming from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. Stop in and see Lee Carney and Nick Richard at Geaux Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. If you have water, mold, or fire damage, you need to get in touch with Advana Clean today. I tell the story all the time. On Christmas Day, I woke up with what I thought was water damage in a room. I gave my friend Bradley Lynch a call at 225-369-5228. And on Christmas Day, 20 minutes later, Bradley was at the house diagnosing the problem, and he was back with his team to clean it up. Find out for yourself online at AdvanaClean.com.
that's at VantaClean.com. ADVANTA clean.com.
Johnson and Spiller's Dentistry with 2 locations, one in Gonzales and one in Baton Rouge. Stop in to see them today. They provide the highest quality of dental treatment in a relaxed and professional atmosphere. They also offer Botox and teeth whitening. 2 locations, Baton Rouge and Gonzales, online at johnsonspillers.com. Lanois Agency, online at LANOIXagency.com, helping you today with Baton Rouge auto insurance, home insurance, flood insurance, or business insurance. Get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David, 749-5640, or you can shop them online at LANOIXagency.com. This is a personal testimony from me. They handle all of my insurance, whether it's my home, auto, flood insurance, business insurance. They're the best, man. They're my insurance agent, but they're my friends first. Online at LANOIXagency.com. The Jordy Culotta Show is powered every day by Geaux Chevrolet. Online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Located in Laplace, Louisiana, with the greatest selections of new and used Chevrolet vehicle inventory. Over in Laplace at Geaux Chevrolet, they have the latest models in stock. They provide financial assistance to both new and used car customers. Stop in today. It's a convenient stop, whether you're going to New Orleans or coming from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. Stop in and see Lee Carney and Nick Richard at Geaux Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. If you have water, mold, or fire... Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Advanaclean. Remember, water, fire, mold. You wake up this morning and your feet hit the ground, you feel water, or you wake up and smell fire, or you see mold. Get in touch with Bradley Lynch over at Advanaclean. That is ADVANTA clean.com.
Guys, it seems like we're adding new awesome stuff to the merch store every day. We've got some awesome options in the hoodies that we're adding. We got tons of options for the kids, man. Jordy.itemorder.com so we can get all the Jordy Culotta Show merch. Jordy.itemorder.com.
Yeah, you can get, we added this color last week that I'm wearing, this mint green. The actual writing will be, I think it's either white or navy blue. It's on the site, so you can check. But I've gotten so many compliments on this color, so I'm very excited. Also, make sure if you are in the chat, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already.
Stop being so mean.
That really helps our videos. A lot of people ask how you can help us. I mean, subscribing also to the show helps us, but with SEO stuff, the thumbs up really does help. And if you have not followed us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, you can find us in all of those places at Culotta Show. Give us a like there. And lastly, subscribe to our podcast, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Subscribe, and if you're on Apple, you can always write a review, give us some stars. We'd appreciate that.
Yep, our daily.
Oh,
Got
Super Bowl Sunday coming back at you.
Sniper.
Capital City Crawfish.
Yes. Shout out to Will in Capital
dude.
City Crawfish. Man, that was some good crawfish. They're located right behind that famous Mexican restaurant right over there on Government Street. They're easy to find in the Government Street near Jefferson in the Shoppers Value parking lot. Stop in and see Will. Shout out to him over at Capital City Crawfish for helping us out over at the undisclosed location for our Super Bowl get-together.
Also, shout out to Tin Roof, who donated all their beer. We appreciate it. We always have a good time with them.
Yes, our crew. Willie McGee and Chris Boyce. Thank you very much over at Tin Roof. The Hall of Fame class was announced over the weekend, as that is standard operating procedure for the NFL as they announce their their Hall of Fame class the same weekend as the Super Bowl, and it is a list of headliners,
Heavy hitters.
As Peyton Manning would be the leadoff here, as Manning was of course a first ballot Hall of Famer after his star-studded career where he spent time with the Indianapolis Colts, Denver Broncos. And at the time of his retirement, he held NFL records for passing touchdowns, passing yards, and quarterback starts won by his team. His single-season record of 5,477 passing yards and 55 touchdowns set back in 2013 still stand. He is a New Orleans native. He went to Newman High School. Of course, he played in the SEC with Tennessee, and he is the headliner of this Hall of Fame class that features Manning, Charles Woodson, who Woodson beat Peyton Manning for the Heisman Trophy back in 1998 when he was at Michigan, and Manning was finishing up at Tennessee. But Woodson went on to play for the Raiders, the Packers. He was the first player in NFL history to have at least 50 interceptions and 20 sacks. He was an absolute game changer.
Somehow
at the
underrated.
defensive backfield. Yes, he was. He was. I don't think that he is talked about in dominant secondary play. I mean, I think first ballot Hall of Famer.
He made it look easy.
Yeah, but I think that's right. I think that is a testimony to just how easy he made it look being out there. I mean, he was very effortless in his skill. I mean, he was, he beat Peyton Manning for the Heisman Trophy Award, and
Randy Moss.
he kind of deserved it. You know what I mean? Like, he had that type of year. Had a big punt return against Ohio State, big interception against Michigan State. Yep.
Did y'all see the video they made?
Yeah.
For his
Yeah.
That was so good. That was so good.
Well, you were talking about that. I feel like the Peyton Manning, he was just kind of like, yeah.
About time.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah.
About time. I love that his kids were in it. I love that Manny is he's become more humanized off the field. I mean, his ads and everything. He's very funny in the Saturday Night Live stuff. I mean, it makes you feel like you know him, but I mean, the human element to him,
Yeah.
I think, is a little bit more endearing.
I think of
as
him
well.
more at like who he is now has almost than when he was a football player. Like I think about him, his commercials, and like all his interviews about his kids and his show that he's done. Peyton's
Places.
Places. Well, and then we were talking about it before the show. So he has decided to start his own media company, Omaha Productions, and he's, I guess, sort of just taking it from Peyton's Places, and he's going to do something similar to that on Omaha Productions, and then he's going to work with other athletes and
What a
help them
name
create.
for it.
Yeah, and then he's going to help other athletes create something similar for themselves. But I think that's pretty cool.
Yes. I mean, he's done a
great
lot.
with media,
He
and I
is.
think it's so wild that he has turned every job that has been offered to him. He has turned it
He's
down.
a gold mine.
Yeah.
Like he's just being like, no thanks. I'm just gonna hang out with my kids in
I mean,
Denver.
people want him in the booth so
I
badly.
think he wants to own a team. I mean, I think he's trying to put together a group to buy a team, like behind the scenes.
like Elway.
Yeah, Elway. You know, Marino had some ownership in the Dolphins back in the day. I think he's looked at those guys and seen them kind of as a roadmap. I don't think the TV draws him. I think he.
I mean,
believes-
obviously they
That's
are
true.
offering
Yeah,
him like
they've offered him Monday
crazy
Night
amounts of
Football,
boatloads of
Sunday Night
money.
Football. They've
Yeah.
offered him everything.
And maybe right now, maybe it's one of those things where it's like in this season of his life, it's not what he wants to do. Like he does have young children. Maybe he wants to just be with his children. Like we've
And coach, I'm
interviewed him.
good. I don't need any money.
Well, and we've
Oh,
interviewed
man.
him before, and I think one of my favorite stories when you were interviewing before was
Was this
he
riding
talked,
the bike to the school?
Yes,
Yeah.
he talked about how he rides his bike with his kids to their school every morning.
I love
Like
that.
puts his helmet on, gets on his bike, and he's like, we'll pass people on the ride to school, and they're like, "Is that Peyton Manning with a bike helmet on?" You know, but he loves doing that. So maybe his family right now is his priority, and the TV thing. I mean, I imagine that would take you away from your children quite a bit during certain seasons.
The travel.
It's
Yeah, the
demanding.
travel.
The
Yeah,
travel's demanding.
I mean, I look at someone like Cole Kubelik, who was
Sure.
doing it at a different level, but like he's always on a plane.
Think about this from Manning's standpoint. His kid yesterday when he ran out, or this past week when he was announced to the Hall of Fame, and he sprints out there and jumps in Manning's arms. He looks like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Saturday mornings for him are probably filled up with flag football,
Right.
basketball, baseball, soccer,
Stuff.
Yeah.
all that
The kid
stuff that you'll never be able to get that back.
Right.
Like you'll never be able to recreate
And I
those
feel
Saturday
like the
mornings.
Mannings are very
family oriented.
especially being from Mississippi. Like they are from Mississippi. Like they have
They're from
New
New
Orleans ties. Well, they're
New
from
Orleans.
Philadelphia.
They're from
Mississippi.
They're from New Orleans.
They're from Philadelphia.
Oh
Mississippi.
God, it's
kidding,
gonna
I'm
break.
kidding.
They're from Philadelphia. I don't even like the Mannings. Like so they're from Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Arch, come to LSU.
But anyways, so they, they're around Mississippi a lot. And so there's a thing every summer, the Neshoba County Fair in Mississippi. And it's basically this like campground where they have like a racetrack and people have cabins and you stay for a full week and there's like live music and food and whatever. Anyways, they have a cabin and they're always there every single summer, all of them with their children and their parents and like
just normal.
just normal. Like family is really important to them.
Do you remember that? I can't remember if it was a 30 for 30 or an NFL Films production, but it was kind of like profiling them as kids and then all that. Like
It was the SEC Network.
you're
the
right.
Manning story, the Book of Manning.
Right,
Yes.
That was a
Thompson.
great.
That was one of
You're
my
talking
favorite
about somebody running for their
specials.
life.
Yes.
Archie.
Yeah, bro. Jeez. That poor guy.
But that gives
So
you an idea
good, too.
of how much they're like family oriented. I really love that documentary. It was great.
So Peyton Manning is in this class, and he's the headliner along with Charles Woodson, John Lynch, the safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on that 2002 Super Bowl winning team that featured Booger McFarland, Warren Sapp, Derrick Brooks. John Lynch was a safety on that team. He was kind of the face of that secondary.
What a squad.
Yeah, Rondé Barber was a deep. I mean, they were loaded, bro. They were so good. But now Lynch is the executive and the general manager and vice president for the San Francisco 49ers. He played for the Broncos to end his career, but Lynch is going into the Hall of Fame here. Calvin Johnson is the youngest Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. He spent 9 seasons in Detroit. He led the NFL in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, receiving yards per game, 100-yard games, 200-yard games, and games with
I know.
multiple receiving
I was putting these in the
touchdowns.
document, and I was like, "This almost sounds like a joke."
Yeah,
Like, I was like,
right.
and I
God.
was, in my mind, I was like, "I hope Jordy reads through this whole thing because it's like it just never ends."
I mean, remember him, Megatron. Bro, he was unguardable in his prime.
Throw it up.
Like, just throw it up. Absolutely. Just throw it up.
went to
you're,
Georgia Tech.
you're either going to get pass interference or you're going to get a
Get a
touchdown.
touchdown.
Yeah, the triple option team.
Yes.
he was amazing there.
How did Georgia Tech land that cat? He had to be from Atlanta.
I think
He
it's
had to
something
be
about
from
him
Atlanta.
being really like smart.
Yeah.
Like wanting to go to a good school.
Bro, I love the fact that he
I wonder if
stepped away
he's
from
an
the game.
engineer. I mean, Georgia Tech's a big engineering
Yeah.
school. Maybe
Yeah.
that was a draw for him.
So you got Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, John Lynch, Calvin Johnson, and then from LSU, the
Oh, boy.
offensive lineman, Alan Faneca becomes the 6th former LSU player elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, joining last year's inductees, Kevin Mawai and Johnny Robinson. Jimmy Taylor's been in there, Y.A. Tittle, and Steve Van Buren. Faneca was the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line from 98 to 2007. You think about those Jerome Bettis teams, the bus teams, Faneca, you can see him pulling and just getting out and clearing the way for running backs during that time. He was a 9-time Pro Bowl selection as well as a 6-time first team All-Pro. He is one of 12 guards in league history to be a first-team All-Pro 6 or more times. Faneca was a guy that played for LSU, drafted by the Steelers, and now going into the Hall of Fame. He's been on the ballot a couple of times. Him and Mawai have
Yeah.
been on the ballot a couple of times together. Mawai was inducted last season, and now back-to-back seasons where you have an former LSU offensive lineman going into the Hall. So shout out to Alan Faneca.
What do you
Congratulations.
think it's like to be nominated, like that many times? And
We talked to Mawai about it, and Mawai's he's a pretty emotional guy. He makes no secret of how he feels and kind of wears his emotions on his sleeves. And he said like the second or third time it became a little annoying.
Yeah,
always
sure. That's what
you
I mean,
always
like,
want to respect the process.
it's probably a little disappointing. You're not like they're
I'd say
human.
more than
Yeah.
that.
You
In the way
know?
that they do the process where you have to go to the hotel room, like you're going to drag me here and not pick me, like I'm just going to stay at home then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Drew Pearson. Drew Pearson's been waiting 33 years
He just has
to get the knock. And last year, I want to say like 2 or 3 years, like the past 2 or 3 years, I mean, he would wear it like he would be pissed.
Why am I here?
Yeah, like what the like?
Why am I
mean,
here?
what's going on? I mean, he looks around and looks at the guys that are in the Hall of Fame. When you want to start like comparing some of the stats and numbers, which I'm sure those guys fall victim to with guys that are right there on the line. And Pearson finally got the call this year to bring him into the Hall of Fame after 33 years of
probably kinda
waiting. Man.
sour.
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, it's
At this
probably like
point,
it's
you're
about
like,
time.
Yeah. Oh, y'all remember me?
Yeah.
I mean, you hate to be like T.O., where T.O. didn't go. He didn't
Right,
show up
right.
because he wasn't the first ballot. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd imagine there is some like, what took you so long?
Yeah, y'all are talking about me in there.
Yeah.
I know I come up and you're just like, next year. Sorry, Drew.
Is Torrey Holt a snub, or do you think he didn't deserve to get in this time?
Well, I think he's going to get in.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
I love him.
Did they put the cap back on the class? The numbers?
I don't
Because
know.
last year they opened
There
it
was
up.
a weird thing. They're also honoring last year's. They're doing a weird thing. I don't know.
COVID?
Yeah, I'd
Because of
imagine that
COVID.
they have to.
COVID related,
They,
yeah,
they
yeah.
have to honor
Right.
last year's because they didn't have they
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have a
it's-
ceremony.
Yeah,
They're-
they didn't. That's right.
But last year's class
Was bigger.
was very bloated because they did it
Yeah.
on something because it was a anniversary of the Hall or an anniversary of
Oh,
something.
it was 100
within the-
years. I
Was
think.
it 100
I
year
think
in
it
the
was
Hall?
100 years.
Yeah,
It's
they
an
made the new
centennial.
ball,
right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So they put it was a bigger class last season, and that's where the Drew Pearson story came from. Like, I mean, you're going to let all these people in, and I'm not, and now he gets in as a senior member. So just that's a good story. I mean, I thought that was good because in watching Pearson's last season real time reaction, I mean, it drew
hurt.
like I was like, damn, this is tough to watch. I mean, this is hard to watch in the sense of you can see the pain. All of his family. I mean, he's got all of his family's like sitting there waiting in the room. Because they don't call you and say you're in or you're out.
You're just in the
big
hotel
dude.
You just get a knock or you
yourself.
don't
I
get a
forget
knock.
big man.
The big dude, his name, I forget his name, maybe like Richard or something, but he comes and just knocks on your door. And if he doesn't knock, then you're not in.
David Baker.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like draft night when you have the guys in the
Yeah.
room
Yeah.
with their
Yeah,
parents
right.
and everyone sitting around them and just watching them not get called. Like that's kind of, but you're watching it live.
You're seeing
So
their-
at least these guys are just sitting in a
They're
hotel
very
room.
vulnerable.
But Nyquilla Stillwad said, Hall of Fame is a weird thing. Should you only get 3 ballot attempts, and if you don't make it, you aren't Hall of Fame worthy?
Look, that process I think is always going to be up for criticism because you're talking about something that, I mean, it's opinionated. And
It's all relative to
yeah,
who
I mean,
you are and how you feel.
you close that door behind you and you have these people in one room and it's just on their opinion. It's just on whether or not what they believe, how they're going to vote. That day,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and you talk about putting sports writers
And their
in a room.
affiliations with things and who they
Sure,
like.
and there's there's personal feelings.
stuff.
There's personal stuff.
Some of it's probably very political.
Levitard became famous a couple of years ago because he gave up his Hall of Fame vote. Because he was like, this is a joke.
Yeah.
He was like, this whole process is a joke. I'm not going through it. I'm just going to give it up. And
then they said you don't get one anymore.
yeah, that's they wanted to become very bureaucratic.
We'll take our ball
about it.
then
Yeah,
and we'll go.
Yeah,
on.
right. Yeah, wanted to become very
The Baseball Hall of Fame.
You can't
is
quit, you're fired.
But I
good
think,
God.
but I think all of them reside in that atmosphere. I think that the baseball is probably the most egregious. And what's the rules? How do you get in? What's the process?
I don't know any. I mean,
But I think
the
all
no
of the
inductees.
Hall of Fame stuff, you're probably like, I mean, I agree with Nick Willis. I mean, if you can be on the ballot 3 times, then what's it mean you're not Hall of Fame worthy to stay at least in a pool, in a selection of names and members that you can say, hey, let's debate whether or not again if he's a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? I know last year we had really good conversation, we had really good debate, and he fell a little bit short. But this year, is he back on the ballot?
kind of like the college football playoff.
Kind of like the college football playoff.
And this is an all-time class.
Yes.
When you fall into that pool, it's like, well, we got Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, and you're just like, well, I don't think he's gonna make it this time,
Yeah.
Esteves, right? saying that- Esteban Esteves. Yeah.
Estevez?
Yeah. Sheesh. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. He absolutely should. I mean, look, I'm not here to debate on whether or not Pete Rose was gambling.
wanna put little
off the
cookies
field,
on the game,
but bro,
man.
I mean, like he's got the most hits. Like as far as his accomplishments in the game of baseball, right on his plaque at the Hall of Fame, he was busted for gambling during his time. But while he was playing, he was a Hall of Famer.
First ballot.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of first ballot Hall of Famers, how about Billy Football?
Billy Football.
Your
Did
boy.
Jose take a dive?
I think yes.
Yes.
You had to have.
So for those of you who don't
How
know what we're
pumped was
talking
Billy?
about, Barstool Sports
9
had
seconds.
a
He was-
amateur boxing fight called Rough and Rowdy. Billy Football, guy who started as an intern, then went back to college, then came back. I guess he's an
He was
employee now.
floating
Whatever.
around and
He's just a
figured,
guy. He
why-
worked
why
with
would I
Big
get a
Cat
real job?
and PFT. So he and Jose Canseco were up against each other, and so it's been this whole thing where they've been building up like talking smack to each other. And I honestly was like, I think Jose Canseco is going to kill Billy Football. Like he's just
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you
He
just
looks like
looked
somebody
at
who
them
would kill
standing
you.
side by side,
He's yoked.
that guy's gonna kill him.
Jose is huge.
So they go into the ring. It starts. I think Billy Football sort of overwhelms Jose a little bit, and then Jose falls into the corner. Says he's got like a torn rotator cuff. It's been
Jose?
bothering.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
said it's been
yeah.
bothering him, but he thought he might want to play through it.
He's just
check
such
cashed.
a sleaze
He
bag,
is, bro.
dude. Jesus.
Nobody should ever fall for Jose's bullshit
ever
anymore.
again.
so he
ever
was
again.
paid-
And we're gonna do it again
Ever
in a month.
again.
You know, he's
So
gonna
he
do
was paid up
something
front?
else.
Yes, he
Oh,
was
yeah.
paid in full up front.
Okay, so then what Dave Portnoy has done is that if you bet on Billy Football, he's paid out your bet. If you picked
Bet-
Jose, you get a
cancel it,
refund.
It's null.
Yeah, so you get a
Get your
refund.
money back. They should do that for
Dave
Devin White.
Portnoy's a great businessman.
Yeah.
He understands the
He
people.
understands it, and he got on Twitter after and was like, "Bro, I
He
got
swindled
got.
us.
Yeah,
I
I got.
That's a hard thing to have to admit too, and you're just like, you know what? It happened. Jose,
But I mean,
no more.
we all saw it happen.
Yeah.
So like, we're watching Dave. We're like, we get you. Like we hear you. You did. You got.
What a bad spot to be in. He's calling the fight. You know, he's broadcasting
Yeah.
as like, COO or whatever, like creator of content.
But I
He's
don't
like,
think that
I'm
makes
getting
him look
got
bad.
right now.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
puts
doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
It doesn't.
no, but it puts him in a good spot to be
Yeah.
able to be like, I'm gonna get in front of this
Yes.
right now.
Great
It makes
PR
him
move.
likable.
When you talk, when you put Portnoy and Canseco side by side, and you say, "Who do you think duped too?" I think everybody in the public's going to say you got duped by Canseco.
Yeah.
And Portnoy's saying, "Yeah, we're going to handle it the right way.
Well,
like we're
and-
going to pay you your money back. You're going to give the refunds here, and I guarantee you, Barstool never gets into bed with Jose
yeah,
Canseco ever again."
That bet is dirty.
But it was kind of strange. It was a strange atmosphere on Twitter because you have this whole like group of people who hate Barstool Sports, and for whatever reason they don't love Barstool Sports, and so they're like, wait, are we cheering for Jose Canseco? Like,
Right,
they're
right.
like,
What does
they
that-
feel very torn, they're
does
like,
that
what's
say
that
about you?
mean to me?
Yeah.
So it was wild, but I feel like I thought he was gonna last a little longer if he was gonna do something like that.
About a nickel.
He didn't even try to fake it.
No, he didn't. Got my check. Get out of here.
Get out. 5
Remember,
seconds.
our podcast is brought to you by Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders, online at rmb-builders.com. You can get in touch with Rhett by dialing 921-7062. Custom homes, residential homes. He's even licensed to help you with any commercial construction that you may need. Get in touch with Rhett. Rhett Bourgeois brings you our podcast daily here on the Jordy Culotta Show. So wherever you're subscribed, that podcast is brought to you by RMB Builders.
I was going to say, last thing about it, I saw there was like a small clip that Big Cat, I think, tweeted out where he and PFT were interviewing Jose, and they were like, Big Cat was like, I bet you $1 million, like Billy Football's going to win. And Jose's like, no, I'll take that bet. And Big Cat was like, can you take that bet? Like, he was like, can I see your bank account? Like, can I see your bank records? Like, could you even take that bet? And then it like cuts to black. And I was like, ugh.
I love that.
Dude, they
like
did a
that.
great job of pumping that fight on the podcast. Like, that's how you sell a fight.
Yeah.
Jose was all in, and
Yeah.
then little did we know, taking a dive.
Taking a dive.
All right, we're going to talk to Derrick Stingley Sr. here in a couple of minutes, and we're going to talk to Frank Wilson at 8:30 this morning. As remember, we'll talk to Derrick Stingley Sr. every Monday here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll talk to him about what's going on over at Elite Football Academy. We'll also talk to him about his thoughts on the Super Bowl yesterday, as Kyle Brandt over at the NFL Network had it dubbed the LSU Invitational. I wonder what that means for somebody who plays for LSU and watching that game, what the future feels like for Derrick Stingley Sr. We'll talk to him coming up here in just a couple of minutes on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll also talk to Frank Wilson. Wilson was the lead recruiter for a lot of those guys that were shining on Sunday, whether it was Leonard Fournette, whether it was Tyrann Mathieu, Devin White, even Darrell Williams, the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. We will talk to Coach Wilson coming up here at 8:30 this morning as he gets his group prepared for spring football, right? If you remember, McNeese and that group will be kicking off spring football for their regular season that was ruled on after COVID concerns and hurricanes came through Lake Charles during the fall. We will talk to Coach Wilson about how he's getting prepared for his first season with the Cowboys as McNeese gets ready to go here for spring football. You are watching and listening to the Jordy Culotta Show here on the YouTube station. Tell a friend, make sure and like and share. We're presented daily by Geaux Chevrolet. When you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, you shouldn't have to settle for the same old medical treatment. You got a choice, and the choice is simple. Choose Metropolitan Health Group. For all your personal injury needs, real doctors and real solutions to help you get back on the road to recovery. Metropolitan Health Group. The next time you're in the market for a custom home, remember Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders.com. If you want testimonies or pictures of the fantastic work, check them out online or on social media. Their handle is at RMB Builders LLC. They're licensed for both commercial and residential construction, offering new construction and remodeling to Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. Remember RMB Builders online at rmb-builders.com.
Hey, this is Katie with the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate everyone's support. If you want in, email me at katie@jordyculotta.com.
Geaux Chevrolet. Lee Carney and Nick Richard opened up their new dealership on Airline Highway in LaPlace, Louisiana, and they bring you the Jordy Culotta Show every single day. Stop in and see Lee and Nick today in LaPlace, Louisiana when you're looking for a brand new Chevrolet or used car inventory. You can shop it all online at GEAUX.Chevrolet.com. Geaux Chevrolet, Airline Highway in LaPlace. Make sure and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We're there. Daily brought to you by RMB Builders. Shout out to Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. RMB-Builders.com. Get to the Jordy Culotta Show podcast. Daily brought to you by RMB Builders.
Remember to follow the Jordy Culotta Show on social media. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Culotta Show and on Facebook, facebook.com/Culotta Show.
Hello? Yo.
Coach? Coach?
Long night, dude.
Coach, you got
Can
me?
you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You got
Yeah,
me?
I got you.
All right, hold
Yeah.
tight. All right, hold tight. Hold tight. I'm coming to you in 2 minutes. 20
We're
seconds.
live right now.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Geaux Chevrolet. Remember, if you need help with your 401k, like I did, I got in touch with Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. I thought you were trying to give me some
Sorry, no.
He's out in Central. He's in Magnolia Square. It is right under Stabs over there in Central. Daniel Newman is he's a great basketball coach, but he can help you out with your finances. In fact, if you're heading into the plant this morning or you're leaving the plant and you're wondering what to do with your retirement, your 401k, nobody understands the policy and procedures over at the plants like my man Daniel Newman does as far as the finances go. Get in touch with him over at Edward Jones in Central. Easy to find him online. Each week here on the Jordy Culotta Show, we link up with Derrick Stingley Sr., who is a great tutor of defensive backs here in our area. In fact, Elite Football Academy is up and moving. If you're not following them on social media, you should be. You see everything exciting that's happening there. Nick Brissett has been to the undisclosed location. Coach Stingley was here last week. We got him on the phone here this morning as we catch up with him. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing all right, man. Kyle Brandt from the NFL Network called yesterday's Super Bowl the LSU Invitational. Your son may be the best player on that roster. When you see LSU having so much success on Sundays, specifically Super Sunday, how does that make you feel as a pop?
Makes me feel good. Makes me feel good knowing that, LSU has always done a good job of bringing in talent and then producing talent as well. So, hopefully the future is bright to where, Derrick will have an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl if he gets his opportunity to play in the NFL.
What did you think of the game?
I didn't think it would turn out to be like that. I thought it would be probably a little closer. Actually, I thought Kansas City would win, to be honest. I didn't think that anyone could slow that offense down. But, as this goes to show you that Todd Bowles for Tampa, he had a real good plan. I think I was watching ESPN earlier today, and they were talking about it was probably a good thing that Todd Bowles had the opportunity to play them earlier in the year, because maybe if he hadn't played them, he probably wouldn't have had a better game plan for the Super Bowl. So, I thought guys were flying around, especially by me being a defensive coach. I like the turnovers. I like the pressure. I thought that, they had some real tight coverages. They had some guys over the top. So it was tough. It was tough for them. They put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks as well.
Can you put into perspective how good Devin White was over the last month of the season and potentially how good he can be at an NFL level week in, week out?
It's amazing how he diagnosed a play and he just beelines to it. It was almost like he was all over the field. I think that, with him, with years to come, that he's going to be one of the greats that we're going to be talking about for a long time. He plays hard. It looks like he never takes a play off. He's a playmaker machine. It's basically what you want in a linebacker, and he loves the game. You can tell by just the way he moves out there. He loves it.
From Elite Football Academy, Derrick Stingley Sr. Remember, hit them up on social media, Elite FBLA. I saw you had Junior over at the facility last week, and he was catching some balls off the jugs machine. What has this been like, this getting this off the ground? We talked a lot about it last week when you were with us in the undisclosed location, but just about the challenges of starting a new business, which we can relate with, but just how you guys have gotten this thing up and moving here in Baton Rouge.
It took a lot to get it up and running, but we're glad that we got it going. I think we opened it like maybe a week before December, but word got out fast, and we have a lot of kids over there. We have some good trainers. Guys are seeing the social media stuff, and they want to be a part of it. It's like during the week we're extremely busy. The weekends are kind of slow, which is good. It gives us as trainers a little time to catch our breath. But it's great to have something like this within the community to help all football players. Not just pro guys. So you got guys, kids as young as like 7 years old out there working out, trying to become great football players. And, just like you saw the other day, I did have Derrick over there. He comes over there as much as he can to try to get some extra work with me. His mindset is he wants to do as much as he could this off season, try to better his game, and it's been a good thing. I'm glad to see just the people that's coming in and out. So hopefully we continue to grow on it.
Specifically on Derrick, Coach, in this point of his football life, what are you trying to perfect going into his junior season of college ball?
Well, it's all mental for him, Jordy. For him, it's just a matter of, like I said before, just understanding that, you're going to have some setbacks, but you have to learn from them and you have to come back from it. You can't dwell on it. You can't, feel like you let the team down because someone caught a 5-yard pass on you or you didn't make the interception, because he was so used to having all that success all through life. And, he never really had anything like that, adversity, so to speak. But I think, once he get past that mentally, he understands that, these guys are good just as well. Not to say that talent is caught up, but talent is good that you're going up against as well. So, just go out there and know yourself, know what you're capable of, know your strengths, which he do, know your weaknesses, which, we're trying to build those into strengths as well and get by it. So those are the things that we're working on this off season. Physically, he's in good health. He's good with everything. So once we get over the mental part, I think he'll be that much better.
We've heard if there was ever a possibility that the third year would be it. Is he training at all for any offensive possibilities in his junior season?
You mean to play offense?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, last year and the year before. I hadn't talked to anyone about it. He hadn't told me anything about it. I think for what he's doing now, he's just trying to understand the new defensive coordinator, his schemes, and get to know him. I think that's more important at the moment. But I think maybe there might be a chance. Coach O said that's what he wanted. But me personally, I think we got a good group of wide receivers to where we may not need them. But, if they want to throw something in there with them, I'm perfectly fine with that. I know Derrick is as well.
Last week we had a chance to just get your reaction after the news had been announced about Durante Jones being the new defensive coordinator. Since then, we've had a chance to listen to the defensive staff speak as a whole, including Jones. What were your thoughts, and how is the relationship budding with Junior with his new coordinator?
I was really impressed with Jones. I like everything I heard from his press conference. I think that he means it. I think that you can see the passion coming through. I believe that he's going to relate to these kids and he's going to do what's best for them. Derrick really likes him. Derrick said that he's already had a few conversations with him, personal conversations with him, where Coach Jones reached out to him and called him on certain occasions. And Derrick called me immediately after, like it was almost like two of them. He was like, Dad, he said, Pelini never called me. Aranda never called me. I would talk to them, at practices or, during the games, but not like personal phone calls outside of Coach Raymond. So, that means that he's relating to these kids and he's getting through to them. And for Derrick to be excited like that means a lot. So I'm pretty sure Derrick is going to run through a wall for this guy.
That's pretty surprising, Coach. I mean, when you talk about a guy coming from the NFL where it's really, it's XYZ, right? I mean, it's business. The business is football. Mm-hmm. They expect you to be there. They expect you to execute and produce. Usually in college, it's more about the relationships. That's got to be a good sign for you, the dad, and as a coach, to see him reaching out to his best player and forming a relationship.
Without a doubt, yeah, I'm extremely happy about that because you expect it from Corey because that's his position coach, and then I'm extremely close with Corey as well. But to know that Coach Jones is already doing these things and it's feeling natural. It's not feeling like, okay, I'm just doing this because I need to do it. Because of the conversations that they're having. A few of them weren't even about football. It was about some other things that was a little more personal. So, just knowing that and knowing that, he comes from the NFL, he's going to bring this wealth of knowledge with him, and then he's going to be coaching my son. So I can't wait to see what type of defense he's going to have out there and how these guys are going to go out there and play for him.
Sounds like that would transition pretty well, or at least translate to recruiting very well, which I would have a question with, just because he's coming from the NFL and doesn't, you don't have to do that part, but if you can form relationships and have that type of personality, I think that's really what it's all about.
Well, no doubt, because he's doing it from within first. He's getting his players, on board to where they can actually start maybe reaching out to some of these future guys who want to come and be LSU Tigers. So, that's how you do it, and I think that he's handling it the right way. And I think these boys going to go out there and run through a wall for him. I truly believe that.
Elite Football of Louisiana. It is Elite Football Training Academy is off Airline Highway here in Baton Rouge. The social media is fantastic. Elite Football LA, Elite FB LA is where you can find them. Coach Stingley's over there. Nick Brissett, who's been to the undisclosed location, is doing some training over there. Rohan Davey is doing some quarterback training. If you're looking to become a better football player, there's no excuse now here in South Louisiana. You got training right here at your fingertips with Elite Football of Louisiana online and on social media, Elite FB LA. Look forward to getting you back into the undisclosed location, specifically because we were looking forward to that edition of that jersey that we were going to put on the wall.
I have it, Jordy.
Okay.
I have it.
All right.
Dude, Will Clapp's shaking in his boots.
I have it, and I will bring it to you guys.
Signed?
And I can bring it back tomorrow. I can just drop it off tomorrow if you want.
It's on record. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Sounds great, Coach.
We'll see
7
you.
a.m.
You the man. Talk to you tomorrow, Coach.
All
Thank
right.
you, man.
Thanks, Coach.
Cool. All right. Have a good one.
There he is, Derrick Stingley Sr. checking in here from Elite Football.
Love Coach.
I just
Academy,
love
yes.
all our dads.
We are a dad show.
Dad show.
But,
Dad
but it's
show.
like every time we get off the
show.
phone with one of them, I'm just like, ugh.
Feels good. Just feels nice.
It
He's
does
so
feel
polished.
nice.
He's so good at that.
Got a text from Will Clapp this morning. Where are you putting that Stingley jersey?
That's
There's only two options. There's only two options right now.
Look,
It
Will
ain't- it
Clapp.
ain't above the Taz jersey, is it?
Look, you have an opportunity here to make amends for how poor of a job you did as an intern.
Oh, wow.
If you're
Put it out
looking
there.
to,
Shots.
if you're looking to keep your jersey on the wall, I'm willing to talk about it with you.
Sounds
but
like
you're
she
gonna
wants a
need-
personalized jersey.
Sounds like you need to
You're
clap
gonna
back.
need. Well, also he did promise us jerseys, and I don't think I ever got mine.
Well, that's fair. But have you gotten the merchandise report on one of the biggest spenders up to this point on who's bought the most merch?
Nah.
Willie Clapp.
Wow.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
point for Will.
Yeah.
Another point if you come make my coffee and just
Do intern
do
things.
some things
Yeah,
for me.
man. He needs something to do this off season.
Well, look,
For
I just
sure.
remember this one time we had Will Clapp and DJ Chark in the old studio where we used to work, which was basically a closet. And so I have half the closet and Will Clapp and DJ Chark in the same room with me. And I'm like in the corner, like doing the production stuff. And I just needed to go get some coffee. So I was like, hey, could one of y'all, like I'm working, I'm like, hey, could one of y'all go get me a cup of coffee? And they're both looking at me like I'm an idiot.
Well, I mean-
like they didn't know where the coffee was. They had a lot of excuses. So I was like, fine, whatever. Watch the board.
Oh, God.
I'm going to go grab my coffee. But then I realized, I'm like, how am I going to get out of this room? It did not occur to either one of these giant humans to like get up, to get out of the room, out of my way. I had to like climb over these two football players. And to this day, I'm like, what idiots? Like, what are y'all
Clapper.
doing?
2 out, 1 in.
Yes.
I think after that, I think
Go
DJ
on, Riz, right through. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go. Let's go.
I
Get
I
into
think,
coffee.
I think to be fair, I think DJ actually brought me McDonald's a couple times after that because he felt bad.
Hey, that's the
I
Alexandria
don't
way,
think
dude.
Will ever did any of that. So whenever you're ready, Clap.
Willie, you know where we are at the undisclosed location. Your jersey ain't going anywhere, buddy. You're safe. Landwide Insurance brings y'all Jordy
Stingley's
Culotta.
going somewhere.
Yes, he
It's gonna
is.
be
He could be
front-
right
yeah.
here.
You want it signed? Oh, yeah.
LANOIX agency.com. Get in touch with Randy, Brian, David, all standing by as they can help you with auto insurance, home insurance, business insurance, flood insurance. Get in touch with them today by calling by calling the Lanois. Randy, Brian, David, Lanoix, agency.com. Let's take a 2-minute break. Let me tighten up with Frank Wilson. Or you got something you need to promote?
I was just going to say, no.
Can you go ahead?
Yeah, I can talk. Rob Boudreaux, which was kind of a question for you, so I'll wait. But, I mean, he's just talking about whether Stingley ever coaches at a college level.
Maybe not with elite football.
Yeah. Now that he has elite football, maybe not. So a couple promotions here.
If I was a college coach, I'd call him.
Yeah, Jordy said if he was a college coach, he'd call him. So a couple things to promote. We are still doing our Johnson and Spillers dentistry giveaway. So if you have not heard about that yet, basically they are giving away 20 units of Botox, which who couldn't use just a little touch up, you know?
How much does a unit do?
I think you need quite a few. It depends on your face, I guess. Your face, you have a
I
pretty
need none.
smooth face.
Thank you.
I feel like you might not need very many units. So I might need a little more. I have a naturally wrinkled face because I smile and I'm expressive, you know, which is a good thing, I think, in life. But
very
anyways,
good thing.
20 units of Botox, some teeth whitening, and all you have to do is like us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So let's say you don't have a Facebook. That's fine. We're not going to make you create a Facebook to win this thing. Like us on all the social medias that you have, and then tweet or Instagram or Facebook, comment us your worst date experience. So we've already had a couple really good ones come in, a lot of them Jordy related. So if you have any more of those,
Jordy's out there.
You'll move to the top of the list if you send me bad Jordy date.
We
stories.
love reading all of them, but those in particular are just a little bit sweeter.
So be sure to send those to us, and we will give away the Botox and the teeth whitening on Wednesday. We'll read some of them on air, and we will we'll announce the winner on Wednesday. I was telling them we're getting a lot of bad date stories, you know. Jordy related, all of them, you know. Although I will also say I have also accumulated quite a collection of Jordy photos. So people heard us talking
what about that hair I used to have?
Yep, talking about the. I don't want to show Jordy any of the ones I've got because I just want to keep him on his toes. He never knows when we're going to pop one in.
Right.
But since we told the story the other day of Jordy in high school, the girl he went on the date with sent us the actual dance photo, so we got to see that. But then people were like, "Oh, you just want to see Jordy in high school?" So I've been getting some like photos, and every time someone sends me one, I'm like, "For the love of God, thank you, thank you."
Thank you,
Jordy in the
loyal
wild.
listeners out there.
If you got any more, please slide into my DMs.
I wonder if Chip's got any. That'd be cool.
All right, everybody. Next subject. If you want to ask us a question, we will we'll answer it here coming up. We'll talk to Frank Wilson here in a couple of minutes. Really looking forward to this conversation with Coach Wilson. Want to ask him specifically about getting prepared for spring football. How weird is that to have a regular season starting in April and what that's going to be like and not playing spring football. So we'll talk to Coach Wilson about that in a couple of minutes, what it's like getting prepared. And then yesterday, his point of view of the Super Bowl. That had to be really cool for him watching that Super Bowl.
Very like proud dad moment almost.
Yes,
Yeah, another dad move.
Gotta be a
But like
proud dad.
four of
moment.
them, you know, like.
And now Frank Wilson coaching his dad at McNeese, so we are having a dad on here at 8:30. Why not another dad? But I mean,
Dad.
think about his point of view yesterday and watching that game. At some point, he was sitting in the living room of Devin White, Leonard Fournette, yes, Tyrann Mathieu,
Max and relax.
Got his recliner.
You did good, kid. You did good.
Just chilling,
Aight.
man, watching that game yesterday. So we'll talk to Coach Wilson here in a couple of minutes. But if you have questions, get them inside the chat app. We'll answer them here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Geaux Chevrolet. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this Hall of Fame class and Drew Brees, because Brees renegotiated over the weekend. It seems like just a formality at this point.
No, he's definitely going to come back and make that much money.
Next, it'll be him announcing his
What
retirement.
are we doing, Drew? What are we doing?
And then what for the Saints? We'll talk a little bit about it next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. The Jordy Culotta Show is powered every day by Geaux Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com, located in LaPlace, Louisiana, with the greatest selections of new and used Chevrolet vehicle inventory. Over in LaPlace at Geaux Chevrolet, they have the latest models in stock. They provide financial assistance to both new and used car customers. Stop in today. It's a convenient stop, whether you're going to New Orleans or coming from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. Stop in and see Lee Carney and Nick Richard at Geaux Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. If you have water, mold, or fire damage, you need to get in touch with Advana Clean today. I tell the story all the time. On Christmas Day, I woke up with what I thought was water damage in a room. I gave my friend Bradley Lynch a call at 225-369-5228, and on Christmas Day, 20 minutes later, Bradley was at the house diagnosing the problem, and he was back with his team to clean it up. Find out for yourself online at AdvantaClean.com.
That's at AdvantaClean.com. ADVANTA clean.com.
Johnson and Spiller's Dentistry with 2 locations, one in Gonzales and one in Baton Rouge. Stop in to see them today. They provide the highest quality of dental treatment in a relaxed and professional atmosphere. They also offer Botox and teeth whitening. 2 locations, Baton Rouge and Gonzales, online at johnsonspillers.com. Lanois Agency, online at LANOIXagency.com, helping you today with Baton Rouge auto insurance, home insurance, flood insurance, or business insurance. Get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David, 749-5640, or you can shop them online at LANOIXagency.com. This is a personal testimony from me. They handle all of my insurance, whether it's my home, auto, flood insurance, business insurance. They're the best, man. They're my insurance agent, but they're my friends first. Online at LANOIXagency.com. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Geaux Chevrolet. Shout out to everybody out there for being involved here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We're getting our stickers in for our basketball promotion.
Did we decide that we have to shoot from where we are?
We hadn't decided on that.
I think we might should. I think that should be the thing.
Maybe. So we're going to put Sam Willard from Harper's Haberdasheries, fat head right there on that
love that.
square.
I love it.
And then we're gonna outline that and border it with his beautiful H logo from Harper's, which you can stop in and see him at the Highland Road Shopping Center out there, right next to French Market Bistro, to check out all of his clothing selections. He's got great selections on T-shirts and pants right now over at Harper's Haberdashery. But we're gonna, if we make a
bucket,
we'll lead into it. However many we make in studio on Friday is how many gift cards we're going to be giving away from Sammy at $1,000 a piece. So
I think that if we do it from our spot.
No, not 1,000. Not 1,000.
$1,000. They just $1,000.
I'm just seeing if we can see if Sam's listening.
I think that I do think if we decide it's from where we are sitting.
Jordy, that's $3,000.
That's you're putting a lot of faith in us to actually make these shots.
Right.
I think if we have to make it from where we're seated, I think it should matter where you are as far as the difficulty. Like if I make it backwards,
so that's
this
$100
should be a
shot.
bigger.
Yeah.
So that's $100 gift
Lloyd's
card.
a lot farther away.
Wait, I've already shot it once.
And
It's
you
wrong.
got
arc on there.
ceiling.
Yeah.
Y'all's shots
right
are a little
here should be like a
easier.
$15, $20
Yeah,
gift
Nick's a little
card.
farther.
Yeah, right.
So I think that depending on where
50
you
for you
are
back
in the
there.
room,
You got to navigate through the lights, cameras. How's your jumper? How's your jumper?
Wet.
Sophie's?
Also, we're
Is
getting
is that where Sophie gets it from?
athletic ability. Not her height though. Not her height.
Supermodel Sophie.
We're getting some good date stories in. Nyquilus Dilwad. I hope you wanted me to read this one out loud because you put it in the chat. First date with Mrs. Dilwad at the
Sounds like a dime.
at the Chimes booth next to the mirrors. She goes to the bathroom. I notice a big zit on my face.
Ooh,
Go
no,
to pop it, and
dude.
she sees me do it across the restaurant. Then I got to use my napkin to dab the
Oh my-
mess.
Dude, you got to check before.
And she walks up. What's popping?
That's good.
That's when you know it's the one.
Yeah, so she must have been into it, right?
Yeah, she wasn't too out of it. I mean, like she was not enough disgusted to like
To leave.
Yeah.
At what point do y'all become not disgusted to pop the zits on the back of your dude?
Oh, that gives me like a little bit of pleasure. Like
I was
I'm
about
like,
to ask
what-
that.
what
kind of
date-
I like
satisfying.
popping stuff.
Date.
At what point?
Yeah.
Way later?
A year?
I don't remember. I mean, it's been
Because when
so
you
long.
get to that point in a relationship, I'm
It's
always
done.
like, there's probably not too much I can do
That's
to
why-
impress you anymore.
That's why I
Yeah.
feel like
You know what I mean? Like,
you can still be impressed, but I think about that sometimes. I'm like, man, Kevin's really stuck with me.
Yeah, because you've just seen things.
I'm not trying to go through that
living
again.
together.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just not trying to deal with that. I don't want to get to this level of comfort.
You know what I mean? You're
I'm
like,
lazy. I'm
heard
lazy,
things.
honestly.
Yes,
You're
I did
stuck
what?
with me, Kev. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
right.
can't. I
Did
can't
you?
do this
No.
again.
All right.
When you're like 11 years in, or really, we're like 14.
That wasn't me. That was you.
You can't
you
get to
last
that
night?
again.
No,
That was
not that much.
That was the
No.
cat.
No.
No
Definitely-
bathroom stuff.
That definitely smells like
Yeah,
a dog.
bathroom stuff's different.
That wasn't me. That was the dog for sure. Or in Lloyd's case, that was the cat.
That was the cat. My
cat.
daughter.
That was the cat. All right, Drew Brees is on the move, right? I mean, we see him. He's
the
renegotiating
booth.
his
On the
contract.
move to his house.
You got to think he's looking at Brady last night thinking, maybe
Yeah,
run this thing
yeah,
back
right.
one
Please
more
no,
time.
dude.
Times 43. No, Drew. We love you. We appreciate everything that's happened, but it's over, bro.
It's over.
It's over, man. Over the
I don't.
weekend.
But why wouldn't he just retire?
Because
Why
he's in
does-
love with the game.
Because I think that these athletes are so scared of being forgotten. I really
Yeah.
do. I think
I
even
can get
even
that.
like
Heroes get remembered.
you think about, I mean, like
Legends
Peyton
never
Manning.
die.
Yeah, there
You know what I
you
mean?
go.
Peyton Manning. I mean, think about how many quarterbacks we talk about. We've now like kind of diagnosed as the best, potentially the best, the next best since Peyton Manning stepped away. You know what I mean? We still remember Peyton Manning, but he's not on the forefront of your brain when you talk about it, when you think about it. And I think that scares these types of athletes.
Yeah.
I think that is the real fear that they have. You got to think, there's nothing that really motivates these guys from the competitive standpoint anymore. I mean, Brady, Breeze, they've accomplished so much at that level. What really
what
keeps
next high
them
would even be
moving?
there, you
Like,
know?
what keeps them
Legacy.
getting up and saying, I want to put in the 8 hours of work today. I want to change my diet. I don't want to see my kids or family to be committed to playing 17 regular season NFL games and hopeful to play 4 in
Well,
the
they're just trying to
postseason.
get to that. I mean, honestly, it's kind of the same as when you look at like a drug addict.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
It's an
Well,
You know,
addictive.
you start here and you're
Well,
like,
it
oh,
is
this feels
addictive.
good. Let me get to this next thing. And then you're like, oof. What's
Dude,
that? And all of a sudden you're doing heroin. You know, like
He
what do
broke
we...
11 ribs, tore his rotator cuff, and had plantar fasciitis, and wants to run it back.
Yeah.
Like, you just got in a car crash.
Right.
And I'll go out there again. Like, Drew, it's done,
Yes,
dude.
exactly. And he's fighting to get back.
But I don't.
You know?
But in Drew's specific case, no one's gonna forget you, man. Like the stuff you did for New Orleans, for the city during a time when it needed it the most. Like no one's gonna forget you. You were always gonna be Drew Brees in New Orleans.
But in his mind, he's going, if I can stay healthy, I can do it one more time. He just wants to win one
That's
because
how
he
you
knows
just-
that he only
that's
won
how you-
one.
That's how you get killed out there.
Yeah, it
you
is.
know?
And he wants people to say that he won 2, not 1. He
Yeah,
played
that's what
for
it
2.
is.
You know what I mean? That competitive.
It's that ego.
It is. It's all
ego for sure.
It's all wrapped up in the ego, but what's inside of it is
He means well.
is the fear.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh,
for
no
sure.
doubt,
Like,
no
and
doubt,
I-
no doubt. I mean, think about things that you love.
I was supposed to say,
Think
and I
about
get
the
it.
things
Like,
in your life that you absolutely love, that you sacrifice for.
This GD
that
microphone.
everything, right? But when that comes to an end,
It's
when
sad.
somebody threatens that of taking that away from you, when you just see that the end is near.
when anyone
It's scary.
retires from any job, there's always that feeling of like you had a job, you were fulfilling some purpose, you know, like you had a reason to get up somewhere. Someone was depending on you. And then when you retire from something, like all of that sort of taken away and you're like, man, who am I now? And I mean, this is not the same, but when I was producing the show before with you guys and then I had children and I just didn't go back, that was a weird thing. And
Sure.
thinking about it as a mom, like going from working to becoming a stay-at-home mom, like you had this like purpose, this like thing that drove you every day, this reason, and your kids are that too, but it's something that's only for you. Like when you stop doing that thing, it really feels strange. It's hard. You have to like re-find yourself. And I know that he's just going through that on just this giant scale.
Sure.
You know?
And it's for everyone to see.
Yes.
My,
like no
uh,
one's taking photos of me and interviewing
You know
me
what
and
would be the
asking
scariest
me.
part for me of thinking about running this thing back if I was Breeze? Of doing all of it again. Giving up the sacrifices, changing the diet, doing all the time, putting it in, and getting beat in the quarters.
By Brady.
Getting beat in the semis.
Just
getting knocked out in the wild card.
yeah, it
Like
has-
in the fashion that it's happened the last 3 seasons, whether, I mean, it was in Minnesota 3 years ago, whether it was at home 2 years ago, whether it was back at home versus Minnesota a year ago, or even this past season where Tampa, Tom come in there and they kick you in the teeth. That to me has got to be the most just lonely, depressing, down moment, is to wake up on that Monday morning when it's over. It's over. Yeah. Everything that we put into it, everything we said that was going to happen, everything that we were fighting for is vanished.
And I think that's what's driving him again. You know, he just like, I'm gonna end this. I'm riding off into the sunset with a W.
I'm calling Coach Wilson. Everybody else? Do you have anything else?
Frank the Tank.
Patrick Kimmery. I think Drew's real passion is jewel brokering.
I mean, the only person I've ever met that can get out of that. Ever?
Drew Brees.
Hey, I know the jewelry business.
He told me it was 5. I paid 13. Well, I'm sorry.
What you want?
I can't hear him. Can you hear him? Hey, Coach.
I'm here.
We're live. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing well, man. How are you guys?
I'm great, Coach. It's game week. How weird is that to say in February?
It's the first time ever.
It's unbelievable, right? I mean, what has this been like? We're talking to Frank Wilson, McNeese football head coach here on the Jordy Culotta Show. There's so much to get to with Coach Wilson as we want to talk about yesterday's Super Bowl and what that point of view was like for the coach, as he was the primary recruiter for everybody that was making plays on that field. I don't know if he recruited Tom Brady, but it felt like he did. And the Cowboys, his Cowboy squad, is getting ready for a regular season football game that they're going to kick off this Saturday. There's so much to get to, but let's start here, Coach. How is the city of Lake Charles? How has the pick-me-up been for that city? Because, quite frankly, you guys had your ass kicked in the fall. What has it been like getting back up?
It was devastating, Jordy. It really was. And it was a 1-2. It wasn't just a Katrina or another or Harvey. It was one time, 2 times within a 6-week time span. And so the first one, Delta, whipped us up pretty good. But, you know, things were with wind. And then when Delta came, it poured into those crevices and spaces where you didn't even know you had damage. And so a lot of water damage at that time. And so just yesterday, or just last week, I'm sorry, FEMA left our parking lot to allow us to at least be able to practice. We went about a month and some change without power. But I tell you what, this Southwest Louisiana, this Lake Charles area, resilient people, and they didn't wait. They didn't wait for people. We didn't wait for people to come to pull up trees and power lines. I mean, it was the most amazing thing in the world to see, Jordy, as residents begin to saw their way back into the city and then move stuff off the streets. I had never seen anything like that. It's a very interesting piece, down south in the New Orleans area. Everybody may have a lawnmower or get something, a weed eater for Christmas. A dad would get. Here, you get a generator. So everybody had generators. I was the only one out without a generator. And I was like, hey, everybody need to have a generator. I mean, everybody has generators. It's just like having a cell phone. But nevertheless, it was wonderful, man. It was just a beautiful thing to see the city coming back together. We're making tremendous strides. We're back in our building, our stadium that was 3 feet underwater, has new turf, and it will be bigger and better than it's ever been before. But we're still a work in progress, but very optimistic and hopeful in where we're headed at. It's beautiful. I'm so fortunate to be here.
Head coach of the McNeese State Cowboys, Frank Wilson, joining us here. Coach, we have you a little muffled. I don't know if you're on speaker or on your own Bluetooth. Maybe we call you back because we want to hear everything you're saying. If it gets to a better
Jordy.
That's better.
Oh,
there he is.
Talk about a glow
guy right there. Coach, yesterday's Super Bowl, I thought about you when I woke up thinking about the day, and then when I turned on the game, I had to think, man, this has got to be like a dad, or this has to be like a proud mom. I mean, you're in these guys' living room, whether it's Devin White, Leonard Fournette, Darrell Williams, Tyrann Mathieu. I remember watching you at camp, run the camp with Clyde Edwards-Helaire when he was there as a sophomore. What was yesterday like for you?
I got a chance. I didn't do much of the social media thing, but I did pick up the phone to call each one of those guys and wish them well and just tell them how proud I was of them and that this is where it comes together. This is the culminating moment. This is the pinnacle of a professional sport to play in the Super Bowl. The only things left now is to go get that gold jacket. And it was just so good to hear from them because, I don't talk to them on a daily basis. I give them their space, but I reached out to them and just told them how proud I was of them and wished them best of luck. Was able to reach out to several of their parents and talk to them as well and congratulate them and wish them well. Just very surreal, very humbling to sit back and watch. And watch someone's dream become a reality is a precious moment. So I was so happy for those young men and their families.
Leonard and Devin looked like the two best players on the field. Devin looked like the best player in the playoffs. I know you were so high on them. Did you ever anticipate that they would be the centerpiece of the Super Bowl like they were?
You don't foresee that. Here's all I know. When I would go to Cotton Valley or go to North Webster, Spring Hill, and talk to Devin, he wanted to coach. I know Leonard's doing well. I know Derrick's doing well. I know Jeremy did well. I'm next. I'm going to be the next great back for you. And then the same, was for Darryl, for Clyde, and on and on. And when I got ready to leave, he was a mid-year signee. So I was still there when Devin got there. And I left the spring to go, pursue my other career. But we moved him. We moved him from running back to linebacker, and he didn't really know how to take it. And I said to him, "This is the move that'll change you. You'll be a pro, and you'll play professional football for a long time." And it was something he embraced. You watch him if you can rewind back to his senior year in high school or junior year in high school that spring, him running 100 meters. In the state track meet, and you're like, this is unreal. Yeah. He's 250 pounds,
right?
And was a finalist in 100 meters. And he just, he's the total package. And of course, Leonard was second to none in size, speed, and dominance and style of play. And those two guys on that team, not to outshine, Darryl and Clyde and Tyron, who. How I feel about those guys too, and but it's kind of cool to see all of them have a ring. Darryl and Tyron got theirs last year, and Leonard and the rest of Kevin Minter and Devin get theirs this year. So special moment.
I think Tyron's done enough at this point to earn a gold jacket. Do you?
Yeah, I can't. I don't see anybody that plays better. All I know is every time he steps on the field, he's at least the top three, if not the best player on the field. And he's been that way his whole life. And you guys know the story way back at Tennessee at camp and LSU at camp and 5'9", 5'8.5", 148. That was what he weighed at camp, 5'8", 148. Wow. And you just could not explain, like, he's the most instinctive, dynamic player I've ever seen. And he did it. He did it wearing number 14. He did it wearing number 7, and he's doing it wearing 32. He's a magnet to the ball, and he makes plays, and he makes everybody around him better.
Frank Wilson, who is the head coach at McNeese, as the Cowboys get set for a road trip to Tarleton State coming up this Saturday. They'll have a 6 o'clock kickoff to get their season going. Coach Wilson is a New Orleans native and widely recognized within the college football community as a dominant recruiter and now the head coach for the Cowboys. What is it like getting your group ready for Saturday night? What's the challenges been like? And once you settle in back on the practice field, is it just football, no matter if it's in February or if it's in October?
It is. It is. All that we've gone through, people really don't care, Jordy. Mm-hmm. They when you line up, it's just about results, and that's the mindset we have to have. We prepared diligently. Again, we dealt with the same pandemic everybody else did, but you double that now with 2 hurricanes, and our team left us the first week in September, and we didn't get them back until November. So there was no training and this and that. We were we were devastated. There was no building to go to. There was no housing to go to. This week, we just moved from the Marriott properties, and we're able to start moving into housing. We've been at a hotel since November. And so we've had our challenges, but the spirits are high. The kids are excited about this opportunity. Our community is excited about this opportunity. And we'll show up and we'll play well. The reality is, though, we have help on the way. And so we signed a great class. One thing we're going to do, we're going to recruit, Jordy. You know that.
Believe that. I think everybody knows that.
So we have help on the way, and I think this season, this spring season, will catapult us into our best team in the fall. But I'm excited where we're at, and excited to give our community, our student athletes, an opportunity to go out and compete. It's been over 400 days since they played in a football game, and so yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
Wow, Frank Wilson joining us here. That is crazy to think about. When people ask me about recruiting, when people ask me about a recruiter, I always tell them you, and it was because nobody was off the table. The story Meat Market, Bruce Feldman describes it very well on the opening day of a recruiting cycle where Joe McKnight, rest in peace to Joe McKnight, was the most dominant player in that cycle. And Frank Wilson came in as a young coach, slammed his hands down on the table and said, "We are getting Joe McKnight." And if you read that book, you had Joe McKnight.
You better believe it.
And everybody else was on the table, whether it was Leonard to Devin White. What's the philosophy now like at McNeese? And how do you carry over that personality that everybody loves into the living room to these athletes?
You know, we haven't changed. We haven't changed our process. We have a defensive end here. Isaiah Chambers, a young man that signed with TCU, who I think will have a great spring, great fall for us. We have a running back, A.J. Carter, who at one time was committed to LSU from Manning High School that we swung away from Arizona State. We've done a really good job with our high school recruiting. We got our best player and building our fence around Lake Charles. Dylan Simon and Devon Todd at quarterback from Mandeville. So we're wrestling with when you put in perspective, we're wrestling with some Sun Belt schools, with American Conference schools, of kids that you on paper would say there's no way they can get him. It's impossible. You can't beat North Texas, and we do. We're beating teams that you wouldn't think that we would have a shot at, and we bring our same philosophy. We just try to outwork everybody. There's a lot of very talented programs out there, and they have facilities and they have resources. But here's what we tell them: we have facilities, we have resources. But the bricks and mortar of these buildings cannot sustain relationships that you'll need for the remainder of your life. And when it comes to nurturing and developing young men and preparing them for life on and off the football field, we feel we do that better than anybody. And we stand on it, and we go get them. And we've been fortunate. So we have a great class coming in.
Frank Wilson, impressive as always, McNeese head football coach here in game week, joining us. Last one, your quarterback, Cody Ogeron, is expected to have a really nice, I know his preparation that he has put in, he is ready to go. What do you expect from him? And then coaching your son, what is that like? What is that like?
It's interesting, he and Cody, Coach Joe and I, we go way back when the twins were really young. And then, I think I was about 3-4 years old when we were in Oxford, and Cody and Parker were a little older, about 8, 9, I guess. And they were like his big brothers. They went everywhere together. They did everything together. And over the years have remained in contact, whether it was Tiger Ball championships at LSU or Tennessee or Ole Miss. I mean, they've grown up together. So it was kind of cool to kind of reunite. Coaches here every weekend for practice to come see him, and what is the off season for, considering, the FBS programs. LSU played the fall. So get to see him and come around and see family. So that's good. Cody's preparation is outstanding. He's earned the right to be our starting quarterback. I love his leadership, love his poise, his composure, and the way that he's leading this football team. Quad's interesting. You watch him grow up, and he's trying to find his way. True freshman, excited about being here. He's in a rotation. He's doing some good things. A long way to go, but I enjoy having him. When we're on the field. I'm coach, and he would expect nothing else, and he addressed me as that. And I coach him just like the boys, probably a little harder than everybody else with the standard, but it's certainly a blessing to have him on our team and to be able to coach him.
7 regular season games get going this Saturday. Any anticipation on crowd? What it'll look like?
For them, we go down to Tarleton State, who went 11-1 last year, have a couple of Division II championships under their belt, so a very, very quality football team. It's their senior day, and so they're going to pack the place. It'll be interesting. I've never been there before. Don't know much about the program history. I do from reading, but I've never been there, never played there before, but have much respect for the tradition that program has. So I anticipate it'll be a bonfire. And then we come back here in the hole. I know a lot about this place because I got my butt kicked here many times. And the respect and the toughness, and that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to get back to our winning ways and be the McNeese that McNeese has always been. A team in the last 21 years have had 20 winning seasons that have played in 14 and won 14 championships and 19 playoff appearances and 3 national. We just want to get back to that, because that's McNeese football, and I think we can. I think we're doing it and heading in the right direction to be able to get back there.
Cowboys got the right guy. Frank Wilson, South Louisiana's own, back home in Lake Charles, leading the Cowboys as they get set for game week here as they'll travel to Tarleton on Saturday. Coach, great perspective, great insight. It's great to hear from you. Congratulations on all the success, and good luck on the future. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes,
appreciate it.
Always.
All right, thanks.
Frank Wilson checking in this morning here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Man, what a beautiful voice once we could hear it.
Yes.
No, it's great.
Yes.
See, get him off the Bluetooth, off the speaker, and next thing you know, you got quality quality
the
entertainment.
Jordy Culotta Show special. I feel like if we were on like a more serious show, that might not have happened. I don't know why.
Well,
it's a less awkward. It's like a less awkward environment.
It's a less
so
awkward
you
environment.
feel,
Working? Let me
so
give
you
it-
feel
give it a
like you
shout.
can be like, "Hey, Frank,
that was a big step for us.
let's
Yeah.
talk."
Me,
You know?
me in particular.
Let's talk.
Now that I know we can do that.
Yeah.
Phil's Oyster Bar, thank you very much. Remember, if you're looking for lunch today, stop in and see Phil's there in the Southdown Shopping Center. Great raw oysters.
Last time we were there, I got this crawfish etouffee and
Yes.
shrimp thing. Oh my gosh.
Crushed it.
It was so good. I
been great.
only ate half of it. It was so good and filling, and I only ate half of it.
Uh-oh.
And then the next day for lunch, whoo,
Went back?
yeah, I ate the rest of it.
Oh, yes.
I came back for more. I mean, it was so
I wish
good.
I was better at leftovers. I'm so bad at leftovers.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at it.
Like, you don't eat them?
I'll never eat them.
I don't eat all
I'll
of
never
them.
eat 'em.
Kevin is a big leftover guy in that he puts it in our refrigerator and then never comes back for it.
Yeah.
So then our refrigerator
what I
ends up
do.
as this like graveyard for just like
Every time I go
weird
grocery
smelling
shopping,
food.
every time I go grocery shopping, I've got to put a trash bag just to what I'm throwing out in the leftovers.
So I don't keep leftovers unless I know I'm going to eat them, and I knew that I was going to come back to that Phil's crawfish etouffee. It was so good.
We got any questions?
I don't think we have questions because we didn't really tell people to ask them.
I didn't see
we
any
forgot.
today.
But we can talk about commercials. Close it out.
Yes, Super Bowl commercials. My favorite was the Matthew McConaughey 3D Dorito.
I think just him.
Yeah.
You know.
Attaboy, Lloydie.
Yeah, getting it working over here. I had to sit up to do it. You saw the
What
back
was the
of my
song
head.
that was playing in the background?
Ooh.
What's popping?
We had the volume down.
What's popping?
We
I
did
can't
have
remember.
the
It was like a
volume
good
down.
vibe. It was like a good jam like vibe
Was it? Yeah,
situation.
nice.
Yeah. It's very Matthew McConaughey.
And then my second favorite was the Cheetos and Shaggy. It wasn't me with
That was great.
Neil and
That was
Ashley.
I-
what a
was
throw.
good one.
That was a good
That's
one.
just our era, though.
Yes.
I think I liked that commercial in that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they're just likable people. They're a
Yeah.
likable couple.
Definitely.
They're beautiful. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
they're good to look at.
They pass all the Hollywood
and,
checklists.
And you threw Shaggy in there, which, you know.
Wasn't me.
I love that guy. I don't know if I loved the commercial though. Like I loved all
I like
the
the
things
idea.
about the
Yeah, I like the
commercial.
idea.
Right.
Hey, really nice of us to let the
Wayne's World?
let Uber Eats use the undisclosed location for their
Unbelievable.
commercial.
We were
you
watching,
guys are welcome.
We were watching it like, how did we do this on accident?
I know.
know.
Like
Yeah.
that's how we're funding this setup, everyone. We let Mike Myers and what's his name? Dana Carvey.
Yes.
We let him in here. And Cardi B.
Yes.
She was an
Sneak in
audition
there.
She was
to
a
the
hit.
commercial, but I didn't mind it as much as like
No,
the
it wasn't bad.
Shaggy and the other one. What were some of the other ones? Oh, I really liked the Toyota commercial.
Yeah, that was
With
great.
the swimmer. I actually started crying. I'm one of those people, whatever. So the commercial
I mean, it was
basically.
sentimental,
It was
though.
good.
It was good, it was good.
But basically,
I
I think
can
as a
understand.
mom, so like it starts with this woman getting a phone call and it's like, Mrs. Whoever, your daughter's ready to be adopted. And I guess I know people who are going through like an adoption process, so I know what that's like, and I know what it's like to
Hit you right in
want
the feels.
to want that call. So they call this woman and they're like, "Hey, like your daughter's ready to be adopted. You've been chosen. She's in Siberia currently. She's gonna have to have both of her legs amputated. She's gonna have a really hard life." And you watch this girl, and this is a true story. This girl got adopted. She had her legs amputated, and she became a swimmer, and she's like a world-class
beast.
swimmer,
Yeah.
And so, but at the end, you see the mom just not care. She said, "You know what? That might be hard, but she's gonna have a great life." And that was just like, oh
I love that.
God, I got chill bumps just talking about the commercial.
I was about to ask you gonna break down.
I know.
Can you
Like,
do
sorry,
this?
look, I really, for real,
you do
have like
this?
chill bumps thinking about the
I was
commercial.
about to bring up leftovers again, like the best one to put in your
No,
fridge.
well, but then we can move into some of the funny ones. So then there was like Tracy Morgan with the Rocket Mortgage thing.
Yeah.
So he was like, it could be okay, and then you've got like bad stuff happening all around you.
What a comeback for him.
Tracy Morgan's just
Very
a funny
much so.
guy. You can basically put him anywhere.
I mean, he was on his deathbed.
Yeah.
He was.
And he woke up to a big old check.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yep. Then there was the Will Ferrell. I don't even remember what that commercial was for.
Was it a car? Was it a Volkswagen?
No, it was like Chrysler, GM. It was GM commercial.
He's like pissed that Norway's like beating America and like building cars, and so
He
he's
had a
like,
globe on his hand for a good for 30
he
seconds.
gets the squad.
Yeah.
He tells them to meet him in Norway. They end up in like Finland. He gets to Sweden. He's like, damn it, this place is cute. And then they're like, welcome to Sweden. And he's like,
I
I'm
thought
supposed
I
to
was
be in
in
Norway.
Norway.
The whole thing. Will Ferrell again, just someone you can give lines to, and he's just gonna be.
The weirdest commercial by far, in my opinion, was the 30 seconds of the CEO sitting in the field with,
my
a,
God, I
with a
hated
glass
that.
of milk.
Oh my god.
It was oat milk.
was
It was
that?
a commercial for oat milk.
Is that what it was?
We
were all
honestly had no clue.
What is he promoting?
Oat milk.
And we watched that and go,
Yeah.
is that a commercial for milk?
Yeah. It's not real
Because
milk.
he paid
It's-
$3 million for 30 seconds just to sit there and play the piano
and
with his logo
and he
flashing.
had the oat milk next to him.
I
you
guess,
got-
I
if
guess
you
we're
got it,
talking
do
about
it,
it. I guess
yeah.
we're
Oat
talking
milk
about it.
is
but-
the new in the like. I'm not gonna drink real milk. I'm gonna drink.
Oh, it's the new
I'm an
It's the new
almond
designer
milk.
milk.
I'm an almond milk guy.
It's a new designer milk. It's
yeah.
if you go to like all the like
How do you milk an
hipster
almond?
coffee shops, that's what they like are pushing on you now. The oat milk. And I love almond milk. I mean, I'm not saying that kind of milk is bad, but that's the new one.
It's a new fad.
That's the new one.
The Alexa commercial?
Yeah. Oh, with Michael B. Johnson. Give me some of that. Like he actually looked kind of weird. He had like weird alien eyes, but I'm still into it. It's Michael
But
B.
he's just
Johnson.
a good-looking guy.
He's like reading everything very sexually to you.
Yes. Is that when they ended up in the bathtub?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I was wondering what was happening.
Hey,
there.
hey,
Okay.
Michael B.
What up, Mikey B?
And she's like, read me my story. And it's like some like, I don't know, like romance novel that Michael B. Jordan's like reading out loud to her. I'm into that.
Good-looking men.
One thing I do have a problem with, and I know I've been talking about it all morning, is Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
I got a little bone to pick with you.
They got duped.
So Anheuser-Busch comes out, and I might get some of these details wrong. Whatever. Fact check me if you can.
Welcome to the Jordy Culotta Show.
Well, welcome.
So Anheuser-Busch comes out last
80%
week,
right.
and
Print
they're like, hey,
Run with
look,
it.
we want to use this money instead of doing a Budweiser commercial, the one they usually do with the Clydesdales and all the stuff. We're gonna take that money and we're gonna put it into a vaccine commercial to promote getting the vaccination. We're gonna work with the CDC, the whole thing. Great, like I'm into that. That's cool. Like that's a good way to take a stand. What they actually meant was, we are just going to not do the Clydesdale commercial. We're still going to do the Bud Light Seltzer. We're going to do Michelob Ultra. We're going to do one where we show all of our brands,
tea?
including Budweiser.
Can they do a tea?
Like all of their brands, all of Anheuser-Busch's brands had a commercial, including, I think at one point, you see Budweiser in there somewhere.
It was in the big
Yes. So
big
then,
one.
like, what didn't you spend money on? I'm confused. Like, they made this big stand about how they were going to really put that money to a good use, and then they still spent the money and put their brands.
Sounds like they wanted the double promotion.
It was like a PR move
Yeah.
that sort of was a weird one.
Put this
because-
press release out 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. Tell them we're not spending any money, and then we're gonna have all the commercials in the game.
We're gonna double down.
Right.
It was the first thing I noticed because I guess I had heard that story. So the first time I saw like an Anheuser-Busch brand on the television, I was like, wait, what? Like, it almost made me mad at them for lying to
You
me.
said you weren't gonna do it.
I wouldn't
That's why
have
we were
minded it
drinking tin roof beer at
otherwise.
the undisclosed
Exactly.
location.
Exactly.
That is why we drink tin roof beer.
You know
But
what Tom Brady drinks? Goat milk.
he drinks oat milk for sure.
Yes.
For
Avocado
sure.
Avocado ice cream on deck
Oh,
for
he had
the
two
Jordy
scoops last
Culotta show.
night.
We're going all in on the TB12 products.
We'll get the book.
Yep.
I want everything.
About to be
I
ripped.
want the ice cream. I want it all. Any
I want
more
the
in the
tan.
any more in the commercials?
I'm trying to look at some of what was there was the body one. I didn't see the Jeep one, but a lot of people were talking about it. It was like a Bruce Springsteen thing. Anybody
I
see
did
that one?
see- Did I see a Bruce Willis?
No.
No.
Or maybe. I'm like, no, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah. No,
I
he did.
didn't
He
see
did
that.
I think he did like
Things got a little foggy.
There was
with
the
no volume. It's hard to know.
there was the Tide commercial with the Jason Alexander hoodie. So basically, this guy's got like Jason Alexander's face on his
George
hoodie.
Costanza.
Yeah, George
Yes,
Costanza.
He got a
I thought it was
facelift. They were
okay.
saying. People are saying he got a facelift.
His
He
face
looks
was looking
different.
very smooth.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Which we were
TB12.
talking about. Who was it? Oh, we were talking about Mike Myers.
Yeah, Mike Myers.
He's starting to get that look where when you get like too much injectable in your face,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a little puffy. It's a
Yeah.
little too much.
You got the
Did
lion
y'all
look.
did y'all like the halftime show?
I only saw some of it. I didn't mind it, but I wasn't blown away.
People had a very
Polarizing.
yeah, it was like a lot of my timeline was very overwhelmingly positive, which I thought it was okay. I
See,
mean, it was
my
good, but,
timeline
like,
was overwhelmingly negative about
Really?
it.
Was it?
But I just
I
felt
think we
in the
follow
middle.
the same people.
Yeah, I just
I
felt
thought it was
in the
good.
middle.
Yeah, I just thought it was good. I liked
I
liked
did
his music.
love the GIF we got out of it of him running through the maze.
Love that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
that's
I
those
all you
love
need.
all those tweets.
Yes.
Those
And then
memes
his
are great.
face kind of in the camera, like kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is what
Yes.
we were talking about. He was owning the moment. He thought he was killing it.
He
like,
definitely
he got a little cocky up there. It looked great.
You could kind of tell in the way that he was even like
Yeah.
looking at the camera, the
Yeah.
way he was
He was
kind of
winking
moving.
at-
He was
yeah.
kind of like, I'm feeling it.
I thought
Like,
they were
there's
good.
no
I
better
love seeing that. Did
he
performance.
break-
Me too.
Yeah.
I
Me
didn't
too.
see the end. Normally they kind of like, isn't there usually like a surprise, like you bring someone out?
Yeah, it was just
I
him.
think it was
It
him
was
at
just
the
him
the whole
50. I
time.
think it was him at the 50-yard line.
That's the
with
first
all
one in a while.
all the Jabberwockies.
I loved The Weeknd though. Like I love his music, so I think everything he played, I remember hearing it sort of in the background, being like, "Oh, this is a good one. Like he sounds good.
He
He
played
sounds
all of
good."
his hits.
Play the hits.
Yeah.
Played all his hits. Played all his hits.
Played
I mean,
hits.
really, what do you want? You're not going to get Janet ever again. You're not going to get Prince.
ever again
Ever
in the
again.
rain.
You
And he
know?
said, "Can you make it rain more?" It's like, no,
Beyonce.
dude, that's just the weather.
Beyonce was wild out there. Who
Yeah.
else?
Well,
You got Justin Timberlake.
yeah,
and Janet
JT.
Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. You're
that's
never going
it.
to get that
You're
back.
not gonna get it. I'm just trying to think of the
I mean,
other
Michael
good
Jackson
ones.
did one.
Chili
Mike-
Peppers were good.
Chili Peppers were good.
Did Britney and Justin do one?
Yeah, and then that other guy.
No, Madonna.
Street Boy or
Wasn't it Madonna and Britney and they
I don't
kissed?
remember that.
That was at the MTV
That
Awards.
was and that was
okay,
Christina
okay.
Aguilera and Britney Spears.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm horny online.
Seville Jr. Mike Myers has the divorcee 60+ cat lady face.
He does.
Yes.
He does.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, he couldn't smile. He's got the. He's
and
got
Dana
to the-
Carvey just looks. I mean, they are old. Like,
Yeah.
how old are
Just
they
be
now? Like,
old.
they're just old. Yeah.
They got to be 60, huh?
They're old. I don't know, but Katie used to babysit for Dana Carvey's. Dana Carvey, yeah, kids, yeah.
How old's Katie?
Give her a microphone, for God's sakes. Tell the story.
Just his kids.
57.
57. Not as
57.
old as I thought.
Wow.
He looks older than that.
He does look older than that.
Well, that's what people are telling him, and now he's all injected.
JM James, Foo Fighters not playing Super Bowl is criminal. Ugh, I would love
Yeah,
that.
they would do
I
a great
had
show.
so Foo Fighters is one of my very favorite bands. I love Dave Grohl because I love Nirvana. So Nirvana is actually one of my all-time favorite bands. And then I just follow Dave Grohl because as a drummer, he's just incredible to watch. Like, and I'm not even into drumming, but you watch Dave Grohl drum and you're like, whoa.
It's great.
Anyways, so every single time I've had the opportunity to see the Foo Fighters, something has happened and I have not been able to go. I think the last time was when they were at Jazz Fest the last time they were there, I ended up last minute having to like go to Denver to do something like work related, and I was so heartbroken. And then they broke up, and I was like, And then they were supposed to be at Jazz Fest last year. And I was like, I'm in, I'm going. And then freaking COVID.
Dude, Coco gotta go.
Got me.
It's gotta go. Well, I mean, it's coming up on the year, bro, and I think that's when people are gonna be
y'all.
like,
Brandon
"Get me
McGraw,
outta
Bruno
here."
Mars.
Yeah.
He's got that
I think
same
I'm
little
just-
Was that
swagger
New
to him.
Orleans? Was that one in New Orleans? Or Beyonce was in New Orleans. That's when she cut the power out.
Yeah. I
She
don't
knocked
think
the, I mean, she knocked the power out of the dome.
I don't think I'm a big enough Bruno Mars fan to like have an opinion about it.
But he's an entertainer.
But he's entertaining.
an
Yeah,
entertainer.
I love Bruno Mars.
He's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
entertainer.
About 5'4".
Yeah,
They
I
all
bet.
are, bro.
Oh, I bet.
They
I
all
bet.
are.
Short guy pride.
Yeah.
Short guy.
Hey, we're short guy show.
I'm a tall. You're a tall girl, short guy show.
Yeah, we are.
We are. If we all stood, I would be the tallest.
We're
I
all
might
hard.
be.
We're all hard.
Great representation for the 5'6" gang.
Yeah.
How
Everybody,
tall are you? How tall do you think you are?
6'1" is how I think.
You
is how
are
tall
not
is how-
6'1".
I know, really.
He's
You
like,
walk
"Let
like
me-"
you're 6'1".
He says, "Let me have it."
That's some
right.
Kevin stuff right there.
Yeah,
He
right.
always tries to tell me he's 6 foot. And I'm
I got
like,
that swagger like I'm 6'4", but I'm
yeah.
probably 5'7" and a half.
Walking tall.
How tall are you, Lloyd? What are you? What are we working with?
5'9".
5'9". Okay.
5'7".
In the high tops.
Okay. I'm probably 5'7.5" to 5'8". So.
Let's go back
No,
to back
Riz, you're
after
taller
the
than me.
show.
You're taller than me.
I'm 5'7.5" to 5'8". So just let that guide you.
But how much can you bench?
We'll find out after the show. All right, for the whole crew here, Katie's behind the camera. We got Lloyd over there. Rivers is here. For Nick, I'm Jordy. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. 2-hour show in the
7
books.
a.m..
First one, shout out to everybody out there. Go Chevrolet,
Catch our
Metro Health
podcast.
Coffee, Advanaclean, Landwa. And when you listen to that podcast, it is brought to you by Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders. Have a great Monday. Katie and I are going to get out on the streets. Hopefully we see you on a sales call today. If not, email us to set one up later this week.
Getting while the
Culotta
getting's
Show.
good, dude.
Signing off. Go Chevrolet.
Jordy.itemorder.com for the merch.
Go.
See y'all.
Later.